doing it against
not even, yep.
carpenters and landscapers,
and yes,
there
that's
were no Bill
exactly right,
Russells, and there were
exactly
no
right.
Nate Thurmans, and there were no Bob Laniers, and there was nobody like that.
Oh, you named three. So you named three major competitors for him. That's what you just did. You named three major competitors for your guy Wilt Chamberlain.
Oh, I haven't even really gotten started. I was just throwing those out there.
Oh, you just tossing that out there, huh?
Yeah, I mean, just for starters, without doing a whole lot of extensive research. I mean, that's three other Hall of Famers that were playing at the same time. So,
three other Hall of Famers, and how many?
And one of them, quite possibly, the greatest winner in the history of team sports with 11 championships. So,
okay, so
we did have some obstacles.
So if one guy is known as one of his competitors is known as the greatest winner in the game of basketball, what's that make Wilt?
Now, one of the greatest winners in team sports.
Oh, is it okay? Even more so. What does that make Wilt? If his competitor was one of the greatest winners in team sports, what did that make him?
One of the most dominant players in the history of the National Basketball Association.
Get out of here. One of the most dominant players in the National Basketball Association. That's what you're saying? That you want to hold on to?
Do you know that before Wilt Chamberlain, I don't know if you knew this, my dude.
Here we go. Now you're going to give me some stat lessons?
To take off on free throws, you used to be able to take off from the free throw line and make your free throws. When they saw Wilt doing that, they said, oh, yeah, no more of that. You have to shoot from behind the line. Did you know that the lane used to be like 6 feet wide? But for competitive balance, they're like, oh, no. You have to push this out, man. Otherwise, what are we going to do with Wilt Chamberlain?
Because those landscapers and laborers could get to the rebound, huh?
Yeah. Continue to completely discredit everything that Wilt did. Continue on.
Interesting.
I think he's still number 3 or 4 all-time scoring. And probably far less games. I would just, venture to guess, considering 50 and 22 in his season. But again, it was against painters and
now you want to stat me to death?
And people that just really shouldn't really be out there on the court.
Apparently not against Wilt. Apparently they weren't no competition.
Well,
because you just said, didn't you just say
against Wilt?
Didn't you just say he had 50 and 22 was like some numbers that he
averaged for a season?
So, Cleveland, you've been around a few years. When a guy averages over 40 points in a season, have you seen that? Have you personally seen a guy average over 40 points in a season, in a playoff season, in a series?
No, have you? No, I've never seen anyone average 40
really?
points a game.
Oh, really? So
50 sounds kind of ridiculous, right?
So it's absurd to think that somebody is averaging 50 points a game, right? That's absurd, right? And to think they're averaging 22 blocks a game, that's absurd, right?
50 and 22 rebounds.
For 22 rebounds. Yeah, that's absurd, right? That's absurd for you to fathom, correct?
And played 48 and a half minutes a game that season.
So you would have to, somebody who puts up the first thing, Cleveland, if I told you the man averaged 50 plus points and 22 rebounds a game, you question the competition. You question the competition. I'm pretty sure you, Cleveland, will question the competition of a man putting up numbers like that for an entire season.
I have to look up who was putting up the numbers.
What?
You would have to look at who was putting up the numbers. Has anyone scored 100 yet? I think the closest is 81 in the modern era.
Have you seen footage of the 100-point game? Have you seen footage of that game?
I've seen some footage of that game, yeah.
You seen some footage of the game?
Mm-hmm.
Who was his top competition? Help me understand. If Wilt was 7'2", who was the tallest guy he was playing against?
Oh, okay. So now his greatness is being discarded because there was no one else 7'2" for him to play against.
I'm asking a question.
That's kind of the luxury of being 7'2", right?
I mean, Shaq was the most dominant for a reason, right? And he's in the top 10 greatest of all time because of his dominance, right? His sheer size and dominance, correct?
That's why he's in your top 10, yeah. Probably in my top 10, but hey, man.
I was getting ready to say, hold up. Now you don't have Shaq in your top 10 greatest players of all time?
Probably. I would have to reassess the list a little bit, but yeah, he's probably there because of his dominance in the middle.
And there was and you would look like, he played against a guy like Hakeem. He played against a guy like David Robinson. He played against a guy named Patrick Ewing. Right? Some quality talent, right? Dare I say a couple of those guys are Hall of Famers, right? Right?
Both of those guys are all three of those guys are Hall of Famers.
Yeah, if not all three of them.
Just like the same three that I just named for you. It's in a different era, that's all.
Cleveland, man, let's get the show started, man. With your little, instead of these little knick-knack arguments you're trying to bait me into. I mean, Cleveland, we're gonna get to establishing who's the best in the league, but we got a lot of things to talk about this week. This is week 193, Cleveland, of the Voice of the Fans podcast. We're gonna be heavy on the NBA this year, or this show, I should say, because NBA Finals is now established. I am here in San Francisco. You can't tell, but I'm on location here in sunny, brisk. I say brisk is San Francisco today.
Yeah, it's cold there in the spring and summer.
Yeah, so sun's out a little brisk. But we get to see tomorrow kicks off the finals with the Boston Celtics taking on the Golden State Warriors. So the reason I'm here in San Francisco, going to check that out tomorrow. So we're going to talk a lot of NBA. We're going to talk some NFL. We got to look in and do a close up on the Seattle Seahawks and Drew Lock, and we're going to have some little Drew Lock trivia for Cleveland again this week. I mean, Cleveland is just ecstatic about the acquisition of Drew Lock, and we're going to give him all the chance to talk about Drew Lock and what he means to his beloved Seahawks each and every week. So we're going to have the little Drew Lock trivia segment. We're going to talk about. We got some fantasy football approaches, topics today, Cleveland. I mean, it's June. It's June, and we got some fantasy football action. So we're gonna get into fantasy football talk, and I'm sure Cleveland wants to touch on. You got something out there in the air for Tommy Pham. Did you send Pham your book and ask him to autograph the book and tell him that he's going to have a chapter in the next edition?
I did send him an autographed, signed copy of the book, Inside the Lunatic of a Fantasy Football Owner. Yeah.
I mean, sure they come in all shapes and sizes, don't they?
You guys all thought I was tripping when I wrote that. Like, oh, that's just crazy. You can do that. Oh, okay.
They come in all shapes and sizes. So
because I felt it, I felt the pulse, and Cam, you know firsthand about the janky ass commissioner. So I mean, but we can get into that later.
Goodness. We gonna get into it, man.
We can get that later.
It touches a whole broad spectrum, right?
All kinds of stuff, don't it?
So we're gonna have that conversation, man. Fans, get comfortable. Again, week 193 of the Voice of the Fans podcast. Get comfortable, fans, and enjoy the show. We ask that you participate in the show. And one way you can participate in the show is go ahead and hit the YouTube page and visit the live stream on the YouTube page. Voice of the Fans on YouTube, Hoops and Brews TV on YouTube. There's a couple ways, Hoops and Brews Media TV, actually, a couple ways that you can tune into the show. You can also participate in the show by going to our Twitter page, @_Voice of the Fans, @_Voice of the Fans. Cleveland, as I mentioned this week, I am in San Francisco. Fans, I don't like doing this. I should be doing this a lot more. I should be doing this more each and every week and throughout the week, but your boy needs some assistance. Your boy's going to need a ride home, fans. So I'm going to need you guys to dig in your pockets. And you can reach out to me, cash at me at just at Voice of the Fans, actually. At $Voice of the Fans. Your boy needs a ride home. So go ahead and look deep into your pockets, look into your heart and soul, and cash at me so I can get that taxi back to LA. It's going to be about a 6-hour ride home, Cleveland, back to LA. So let the people know to dig in their pockets. If I can get on the Alaska bus or that Southwest bus, that'd be a little quicker. But fans, I'm going to need your assistance, man. Get your boy back home at, just make sure it is what it is, Cleveland. I'm giving you guys the right information. The Cash App is $Voice of the Fans. Voice of the Fans, Cash App. Voice of the Fans. Get at me. Send me some lunch money for tomorrow. Send me a bus ticket. I need a bus ticket to get back to LA, fans. Because once again, I'm here on location in San Francisco. Going to check out the NBA Finals tomorrow. But after tomorrow, there's Friday, Saturday, and then we don't see Golden State or Boston play until Sunday. So we got a few days in between, and your boy's going to be hungry. So hook a brother up. $Voice of the Fans. Voice of the Fans, so your boy can be fresh and ready, and I can bring you some of this content, exclusive content from here at the NBA Finals in San Francisco. Today it was a little late today, but I did get Derek White to talk about. I didn't realize. I knew that he was in the Team USA with Tatum. I knew Brown was there too. I knew Smart was there too. I didn't really recognize that until Derek White pointed it out. Half the team was in Team USA a couple of years ago. Derek White obviously was with the San Antonio Spurs there, but we had a good little chat about the growth of Jayson Tatum and Jason Brown from their day in 2018, I believe it was, their time at Team USA, and kind of how they use that time to kind of grow. I'm going to try to get Tatum to speak about that tomorrow, maybe, if he's available as well. But yes, I need to get you guys some exclusive content, and that's what we're doing here in San Francisco. Again, go to the YouTube page to see all the interviews that we post and all the exclusive content that we got. Cleveland, so let's get the show started, man. It is week 193. It is June 1. As we do each and every week, Cleveland, we start the show with our numbers game. But Cleveland, we're going to do this with a little twist this time. Instead of you telling me who wore the number best, I want you to know I want to see if you can kind of guess who I have wearing these numbers, the best at wearing these numbers. And we're going to start with our number one, the best player. Who wore that number best in your opinion? Who wore that number best do you think I would say, actually?
I think you would say Warren Moon.
You think I would say Warren Moon? Mm-hmm. Warren Moon was pretty damn good at it, right? Warren,
for sure.
But Warren didn't win a ring, though. Warren didn't win a ring.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Cam? What did you say?
I said Warren did not win a ring.
Oh.
I mean, so that might eliminate him from being
that somewhat validates greatness in some people's circles. Okay.
In some circles.
I didn't know you were in that circle. That's kind of weird. Actually, he did win 5 Grey Cups in a row. Consecutive. Back to back to back to back to back.
And the Grey Cup is that akin to what? A Pro Bowl, AFC championship.
That's akin to being the best quarterback in the Canadian Football League, which at the time was the second best league in the world.
Oh my goodness, fans! I'm sorry. I apologize, fans. You have to, fans again. I thank you guys for tuning in. And
But
let your
if
realism, let your realism,
validate
let your
greatness
real,
in your
let your
mind,
realism.
that just means I've had a great influence on you, and I understand.
No. It doesn't validate greatness.
Where you're coming from.
It doesn't validate greatness. So you think I would say
first thing you said is, that's a good pick, but he can win a championship. That's the first thing you said. So I'm so sorry I cut you off. Who is your pick that wore it best?
Who wore number one best? It has to be the Big O. I have affinity to Gus Williams. I mean, you might not recognize who Gus Williams is, but I have affinity to Gus Williams. Wore number one for the champion Seattle SuperSonics in the Sonic Boom, and he was the one who escorting T. Weedle all around the court, in and out of locker rooms across the country. So I would say Big O, followed shortly by Gus Williams. And, Tracy, you probably would say a guy like Tracy McGrady, who's put up some fancy highlights, some alluring stats, but in no way was Tracy McGrady number one. Would I agree with that? You would say Tracy McGrady is number one?
No, Cam. I mean, he did put up the most effortless 50-point game I've ever seen in my life. He did do that.
See, I knew he was going to use these.
Who wore that number the
random
best?
Stats? I knew he was going to pull up these
who wore that number the best. I would have to agree with you, Oscar Robertson.
And do we agree? Is number 93? I mean, there was only really 193. I mean, some could say the mouth of the South, the motor of the Midway. The number 93, John Wandle, there's no argument that he was the best one in the wear number 93, right?
No argument there.
Dwight Freeney, he just wasn't as reckless as John Randall, I would say. Cleveland, man, big news this week. Obviously, we got the NBA Finals that kicks off tomorrow, so we're going to get a lot of heavy talk about that. But Cleveland, your Lakers have signed Darvin Ham as their next head coach.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like that? Is Darvin Ham have the cachet to sit certain players down in the third quarter when they're 0 for 4, 0 for 5, and 2 rebounds? Does he have the cachet to sit this guy down? Or how's he going to handle that? Or is he going to get the towel thrown in the face like one of your favorites did as coach?
No, he's not going to get the Danny Ainge treatment. He's going to be just fine. He's going to bring a very hard-nosed, lunch pail type of ethic, work ethic to the gym. Not everyone's going to like it because they're older.
Yeah, I was just going to say
it's an older squad, and they're not necessarily going to want to do all that.
However,
I do think that Darvin Ham has been around the block enough to know what it is that he's dealing with and what it is that he's walking into. And the Kang signed off on it, so it's all good. Yeah.
So one of those older guys that you're talking about would the Kang be one of those guys?
The Kang's one of those guys. Carmelo's one of those guys.
Carmelo got to say it. Carmelo got to say it.
Howard's one of those guys. I mean,
Dwight Howard has to say in this.
No, I mean those are those older players that are going to be like, wow, like what are you trying to do? But I have confidence enough in Darvin Ham to kind of mitigate those circumstances. Great fit.
Great fit. Come on, stop it. You think Darvin Ham? You go from a guy coaching your squad or wanting a guy to coach your squad who has NBA playing experience. Darvin Ham got that check. You want somebody who's had actually blew the whistle in the NBA, don't you? To lead a championship quality caliber team, don't you want somebody?
Oh no, not necessarily, Cam. I mean, Tyronn Lue won a championship without ever having any head coach experience. As a matter of fact, kind of set the mutiny in motion for David Blatt, who had won 20 championships in Europe. So, it just depends on what you're looking at.
Oh, Tyronn Lue started that and got the ball rolling there?
He most certainly did, yeah.
Okay. So a guy who had no experience blowing a whistle, you want him to lead NBA champions into what the next segment of their career?
Well, Ken, very similar to when LeBron was coached by Eric Spoelstra. I don't know if you remember that. But he wasn't. He had no head coaching experience, and as a matter of fact, it was Pat Riley decided he would not come down from Mount Olympus a second time because he was going to anoint his prodigy as the head coach, and it didn't start out great, but eventually they went to 4 straight NBA finals.
So, Cleveland, come on, bro. You're not comparing Darvin Ham, former NBA player, to Eric Spoelstra, who's been groomed by Pat Riley, arguably one of the greatest leaders of all time. You're not comparing Darvin Ham to that guy, are you?
Well, as I recall, Eric Spoelstra didn't have a whole lot of assistant coach experience, and Darvin Ham has had quite a bit. He's ready for it. Everybody said the same thing about Udoka last year. You know what I'm saying?
No,
where are they at?
No.
He had no head coaching experience. He was in over his head. He was just a pop. He was just one of those Popovich prodigies. We'll see what he can do. And all he did was get the Celtics to the NBA Finals.
This guy, fans, he did not pick the Celtics to. I don't think he picked the Celtics to do better than 4 in the Eastern Conference.
No, I certainly did not, and that's a testament to the.
So now you want to give Ime Udoka. You had your fingers, you had your ears raised, your ears perked up, wondering about what Udoka was going to do. You was hoping he was going to get fired, and now all of a sudden you're talking about your coach is a duplication of him.
Cam. Again, let's backtrack to what the original question was. A coach with no head coaching experience, can he lead a team to the promised land? And I've just shown you 2 examples of coaches with no head coaching experience prior to taking the job, leading their team to the promised land. So, yeah, it can be done.
So you're ready to say right now that Darvin Ham is going to lead the Lakers to the NBA Finals next season?
Well, it's not up to Darvin Ham. It's up to the
health. So what? It's not up to Darvin Ham.
You didn't let me finish. You didn't let me finish.
Because you just blew up your own theory.
It's up to the health of the Los Angeles Lakers. It begins and starts with how healthy. It starts and ends with how healthy Anthony Davis is going to be. And we all know that he can sprain his wrist tying his shoes too tight. So, I don't know.
I don't know where to go with this conversation, Cleveland. You comparing Darvin Ham to Eric Spoelstra, who was groomed by the best leader in all of sports.
Well, I don't know if you heard what Al Horford had to say about him and how he helped resurrect his career, who is now playing in the NBA Finals. I mean, certainly, he's contributed in that respect. So,
shame on me, fans. Shame on me for giving the GOAT the ammunition, for giving the GOAT the rifle. I gave this guy. Where did you hear that from, Cleveland? Where did you hear that from?
Voice of the fans. Posting.
And he's gonna turn around.
Great work.
He's gonna try to turn around.
Some of your better work. because he was so heartfelt about it.
He's gonna try to use my own work exclusive content against me, fans. This is what this guy does.
Al didn't mince words, right?
Oh,
he's certainly going to get a Christmas card, handwritten out. Not just you know, where you just get the Christmas cards and the mail, just, you know, everybody just saying, no, it's gonna be different.
Last week, he had Al Horford on a ferry boat back to the Dominican Republic. Now all of a sudden he want to take Al Horford's word for who's the best coach, who should be a coach. And
no, I'm just taking his word on the influence that Darvin had on him and his development as a professional basketball player and where he's, you know, been able to ascend to. That's all I was saying.
You gotta quit it, man. You ought to quit it. Darvin Ham, Saginaw, Michigan native.
So it's from that Draymond Green part of the country. Okay.
Obviously played in the league. Has a history in the league.
I don't know if you remember Darvin Ham in college. He was kind of a beast.
I remember Darvin Ham was he was and don't get carried away when I say this, but he was in the Charles Barkley mode of undersized power forward.
Very, very true. Very true. Extremely athletic in in college and not really quite sure, you know, how that translated to the pros, but he had an opportunity to win a championship with the Pistons. So, you know, he played on Larry Brown, Chauncey Billups, Rasheed Wallace. I mean, he's seen it all. He was on the Lakers staff for a while. I mean, he's been around the block, man. I
mean, he's been around. He most importantly, he was with Budenholzer in Atlanta. He was with Budenholzer in Atlanta, in Milwaukee. Right. So kudos to him.
And Giannis speaks very highly of him as well. And I don't know if you know that, but Giannis is the an NBA champion and two-time league MVP. So he was very sad to see him go.
As
a matter of fact, I heard that he was one of the main reasons that Giannis decided to stay in Milwaukee.
Oh, this guy. Is that what you heard? Who told you that?
Look it up. Giannis.
Now you're talking to Mr. Antetokounmpo, huh?
I'm not talking to him personally. Giannis volunteered this information.
Okay. All right. So does this add pressure? Who does this put more pressure on? Darvin Ham getting his job. Does it put more pressure on Darvin Ham to coach up the players, coach up some of the Lakers as he's coached up Giannis in the past? Does it put more pressure on Anthony Davis? Or
all the pressure is on Darvin Ham to make this work.
What? All the pressure is on Darvin Ham?
For sure.
So if Mr. Fragility only comes out and plays 3 weeks of November, who's that? Is that on Darvin Ham or is that on?
He gets a pass. We'll see.
He gets a pass.
We'll see what he can do with that circumstance. No one ever said, "Hey, you're going to walk in here and turn water into wine." I mean, but if you already have one of the,
I thought they were already wine. They just were looking for the right guy to bless the bless offering.
And as I said, it depends on their health. And as we all know, their second best player is extremely fragile. So that's a challenge.
So is it Darvin Ham's fault when Mr. Fragility can't get out of bed or sprains his wrist tying his shoes in week 3 of the season next year?
No. But we'll see what he does with that scenario.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. Let's give this guy a chance. Darvin Ham named the Los Angeles Lakers head coach. And one thing is, there's been a lot of talk about shipping LeBron out and seeing what you can get for LeBron. What do you think Darvin Ham thinks about that scenario?
Nobody really says that really understands the Lakers and what's going on.
I mean, this is coming from Stephen A. Smith. This is coming from
Stephen A. Smith is not privy to that kind of information. Again, no one in the know really says that.
Really?
No.
Stephen A. Smith now is not in the know, Cleveland says.
No. I mean, not to that extent. If he's coming out with information like that,
I mean,
LeBron wants to leave.
This has been bounded around.
He's not getting traded for like what 3 first-round picks and somebody. Yeah, that's not happening.
I don't know what Toronto might give up for LeBron.
Well,
or Atlanta.
We're not going to find out. So
or Atlanta. Or I mean,
we're not going to find out, so it don't really matter.
So the Knicks send you 2 number ones, and you get Marcus Robinson and what's the guard name? What's the little short guard who went to Chicago? What's your Rose? And you get the former MVP Rose. That doesn't do it for you. You get a point guard. You get 2 number ones, and get a point guard in the center.
Yeah, I know, Cam. You're always in that football mind. It's harder for you to like transition and shift, but yeah, no, that's not enough.
What does that have to do with football? What are you talking about?
Because you always want the picks and the draft picks and building for the future. But when you have one of the top 5 greatest players to ever play basketball, you don't keep that.
Wouldn't that command some picks? I'm not sure. I think when Miami did the sign and trade,
why aren't all of the other teams doing that with one of the top 5 greatest players in the team?
Because they don't have him at his. They don't have.
Well, hey Cam,
that guy in his last stages.
Enough with the daydreaming, man. They're not trading LeBron James. So let's move on to the next subject.
Well, let's talk about it, man. Here we are. The Heat finish off the Celtics. The Celtics finish off the Heat.
Yeah,
the
right.
The Celtics were trying to give it away. The Heat couldn't actually complete the gift that they were trying to give them. Mm-hmm. That Game 7. I mean, we were shocked. I was stunned that it went to a Game 7. The Eastern Conference Finals went to a Game 7 after Boston had a chance to win the game on their home court on Friday night and got blown out. I was shocked that they were even in the game on Sunday. What's your thoughts about how that game played out? They tried to give the game away multiple times. The Heat, were doing all they can to stay in the game, and then they just kind of injuries, lack of talent kind of caught up to them. And the Celtics, though they were playing that fourth quarter, looking at after every play, looking up at the clock, hoping that the time would wind down. They were able to outlast the Heat in that Game 7, man. What do you think? The Heat couldn't put enough points together. The Celtics had just enough points on the board, and the Heat just. You don't want to say the game came down to that last shot, but the game really came down to a last shot, didn't it?
Well, I mean, not to make a boxing analogy, but I thought that the Boston Celtics were kind of going to end up like Oscar De La Hoya against Tito Trinidad. They just thought they just had too many points on them. It wasn't enough time, and they were just
they're running the clock out. Good correlation, because De La Hoya ran for what? The 8th, 9th round, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 12th round.
9, 10, 11, and 12 thought it was wrapped up, and it just wasn't.
And Trinidad with those long arms chasing him down around the ring, and caught him a couple of times.
Right. So, I mean, once it got down to like it was kind of weird watching it, because it's like, okay, with 2 minutes left, it's like this is kind of over, and then all of a sudden, when it like wasn't over, you're like, why is this game over? And then Jimmy Butler stepping into a 3. I mean, if this was Game 6, he nails that, right?
Right. If it's okay, you hit it right there. If it's Game 6 and he's rolling,
and he's in his 47-point money,
right? That goes down. But it's not Game 6.
It's
Game 7. And the pressure.
He's tired, and he went for 47 that game and 35 this game. It's like it's asking an awful lot of Jimmy Butler all by himself.
So, Jimmy, go to the hoop, buddy.
Why?
Go to the hoop.
I mean,
go to the hoop.
Especially, okay,
this was 20 years ago. You've been going to the hoop and getting fouled. You've been
20 years ago, I say go to the hoop. That's not how the NBA runs nowadays, man. Take the 3.
Take the 3?
Take the three. Nobody around you.
16 seconds. Backing 16, up off you. It's a 16 seconds on the clock. 16 seconds. 16 seconds on the clock.
So what?
16 seconds on the clock.
You're not going to get a better
I'm okay.
shot.
I'm okay with the quicker shot. I'm okay with the quick shot. I'm okay with the quick shot. 3, 2, 3, whatever. I'm okay with the quick shot. But the three, you miss the three, the game's over. You go to the hoop, you make the lay-in. Oh, and you get fouled. There's your 3 points. There's your lead right there. You make the lay-in against Al Horford. You give him a shoulder, fade away, put it in off the glass.
Al Horford's been blocking shot all series long, all playoffs long. Again, he's been playing straight up D.
I didn't say you're going over you're going up and dunking over Al Horford. That's not what I said. He was in position to kind of give Al Horford
what you think would happen.
The shoulder,
and then laying off the glass. What you think would happen if he drove to the hole.
What we seen Jimmy do for multiple seasons now. Go to the hole, get fouled, hit your free throw. Now you're up 1. Now there's 16. Now there's 11 seconds on the clock. Boston is now, the pressure's on Boston. The pressure's on these young kids to come down there and match what you just did. And you still would have seconds to go to make your play. So I understand why you would hoist it up. Don't get me wrong. I understand why you would hoist it up. It's an easy shot. It's wide open. He's in rhythm. I get that. But it is 49 minutes into the game, Jimmy, where you're not the freshest, Jimmy. Go to the hoop at how you have been going to the hoop. Extend the game. Don't try to end the game. That was my thought. I thought you extend the game, Jimmy. So I didn't agree with Jimmy's last shot choice. And you apparently did. Were you more surprised by Miami staying in the game or Boston trying to give the game away?
Interesting question. I would have to say Miami staying in the game.
You were surprised. Okay. I didn't expect that game to be a blowout. Or excuse me. Yeah, I didn't expect that game to be a blowout. In fact, I expected the Heat to win in Game 7 at home on their home court. I expected them to win in a more convincing fashion, or in a convincing fashion, I should say. Does this win give you more confidence in the Celtics? And this young Celtics teams who, Cleveland, these Celtics teams have been in the Eastern Conference Finals 3 of the last 4 years. Now, I don't think they were ready to win in either previous trips to the conference finals, but these guys, they're a young team. Obviously, they're a young team, but they're a young team with experience here. What's your thoughts on the Celtics? Getting here, for the 4th time?
I don't know how many times they've been there. I think you're kind of exaggerating a little bit, but
they were there with Kyrie. They were there with Kyrie. They were there with Kyrie, right? They were there before, when the whole season before Kyrie, before he didn't, when he didn't play. Then they went back the next year when he played, and now this year. That's 3 or 4 last 4 years.
Okay, great. And they did some things. They certainly beat a very mentally confused Brooklyn Nets team without
mentally confused.
They certainly beat a depleted team in the Milwaukee Bucks without Chris Middleton. And they certainly beat a team that lacks offensive firepower in the Miami Heat, and they deserve to be in the NBA Finals.
So it doesn't sound like you're giving them any credit for these guys for beating the Brooklyn Nets or the mentally challenged.
I certainly give them credit for maximizing their talent. They really have JT. He's the straw that stirs the drink. Jalen is a really good.
But you got to give him more than that, Cleveland. You got to give him more than that.
You let me finish.
Okay, go ahead.
Jalen has proven to be kind of like, when it's time to get down, he's a different guy. During the regular season, all the matchups might not look as positive. He might not put up those, big cool numbers that people like to see. Maybe not so many Sports Center highlights, but once it gets time to, we're down to these series, and we'll just have to see what happens.
Coco, you okay, Coco? You good, Coco? You good, Coco? You gotta go check out a little pooch, Coco. But just to listen to what he was saying, Jaylen Brown does step up in crunch time. The Boston Celtics. The question I want to ask Cleveland is the growth that the Boston Celtics have shown this season. Does he have any more belief in these guys now? And just from the tone of what he was saying, just from the tone of what he was saying, I don't think Cleveland has much more belief in the Celtics now. Because that's the question comes into this. I wanted to ask you, Cleveland, flat out, do you believe in the Celtics now? Because you didn't believe in them all season long. You didn't believe in them in the second half of the season. You didn't believe in them first half against the Brooklyn Nets. You didn't believe in them then. You didn't believe them in their second round. You didn't believe in them in the second round. And my question now is, now that they beat the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals, do you believe in the Celtics now?
I believe that they were a really good team. I believe that they certainly will represent the Eastern Conference with pride and respect. Do I believe that they have a chance to win the NBA Finals? No.
I mean, they're here. They got a chance. They got a punch.
Well, they certainly do. And we've seen, Toronto a few years back. You never know what can happen, but once you get here, that's part of, you have to play the game, as Chris Berman would say. That's why they play the game. So
that's why they play the game.
They do have to roll the ball out every time. They do have to tip it off and see where it goes. And, funnier things have happened. 2004 Pistons won an NBA championship. I mean, these things happen.
No, I think that was kind of expected, actually. They were playing.
I was expecting for them to be Shaq and Kobe.
They were playing some mentally.
Karl Malone.
They were playing some mentally challenged. They were playing some mentally challenged team players over there. So that was okay.
Fans right here. He called Kobe Bryant mentally challenged.
More so the other guy, but yeah, okay.
Oh wow! And apparently Shaq was not physically
exactly
dominant. Anyways, again, like I said, one of the anomalies of the NBA pantheon of champions is the 2004 Detroit Pistons. Almost never happens.
But for some reason, that was such a memorable season for you to remember. But Cleveland, I want to know if there was a situation in that game with the Heat versus the Celtics that when the Heat making their comeback, they were down. The Celtics jumped on them early. Another thing I don't understand in that particular series, how the home team consistently were getting blown out. It didn't happen in the Celtics final win against the Heat. They didn't blow them out, but the other wins against the Heat were blowouts. They kept it. That particular game was a close game. The game 6 and game 7 actually were close, where the rest of those games were, blowouts. The home team usually winning that blowout. Do you agree with them taking points off the board when somebody in Secaucus reviewed the match Strus 3, and it looked more like Sean Elliott's corner 3 for Sacramento or San Antonio when he stepped on his tippy toes and his heel never hit the ground. Because if the heel hit the ground, he would have been out. But that jumper was so pure that even with this on his toes, he just caught it and shot it and it swish. But they taking point. They went back 10 minutes later. They said, "Oh no, Strus's 3-point play goes from 3 points to he's out of bounds to no points." What do you think about that?
Honestly, Cam, I when I saw it the first time, I thought he stepped out of bounds.
Well, it's fair if he steps out of bounds. I'm not mad that they called him for stepping out of bounds, and it wasn't conclusive. But you can't review the play, let 5 minutes of the game play out, and then say, "Oh, we have a scoring change from 5 minutes ago. That jumper that we gave him credit for, that 3-pointer we gave him credit for, he actually stepped out of bounds and it doesn't count. Nah, you can't do that. You can say it was
the NBA has because they have the you can't do that, the ability to go back a little bit.
You can't go 5 minutes back, man. You can't.
They do it all the time. They review things. It's like, oh, we thought it was a 3. It's a 2.
I'm okay with that.
For this time, they thought it was a 3, and he was out of bounds.
I'm okay with that. Them saying 3 minutes later, we identified that should have been a 2-pointer, or his toe was on the line. I would prefer that they catch it then, but you can't go back retroactively 5 minutes ago and say, "Oh, we missed a call." Number one, if they missed a call, they missed a call. Number two, they can't have a second set of referees analyzing plays that the referees potentially missed and go back and try to change that. Oh, we should have 5 minutes ago. There should have been a foul on LeBron James.
It wasn't a foul. It was whether he was in bounds or out of bounds. They have the ability to review that. So I'm okay with it.
I totally disagree with that. You can't take points off the board retroactively. You can't do that. Similar to football, the refs miss a holding, pass interference, offside, whatever the call is. Once they snap that next play, that's gone. We can't go back.
Yeah. That's not how the NBA.
You can't go back.
Yeah, that's not.
The NBA is the same thing. Mm-mm. Once we get a bucket, foul call, the timeout, you can't go. Oh, let's look at this from.
It's in the collective bargaining agreement. You can do that.
Man, they can't do that.
And should do that.
They need. I'm gonna talk to Adam Silver and we got to change that. Adam, you can't go back changing calls retroactively. You can't do that, Adam. You just fuck up the whole game. Let's talk about their matchup. Now the Warriors have been rested. They gave the Mavericks one win, the gentleman sweep there, and they've been well rested. Are these Warriors, these 2022 Warriors, are they more dangerous than the 2017 Warriors, Mr. Cleveland? What say you?
No.
Well, what's the difference? Now this team is more experienced. This team has more unity. This team has actually been through some adversity together. Steph Curry goes down being injured. Draymond Green misses 2 months of the season, where the young players have to step up. Looney has to step up and learn how to play. Jordan Poole is stepping up, doing this thing. Somebody we haven't heard of and it seems like 2 months now is Juan Toscano Anderson. Is there going to be a Juan Toscano sighting in the finals here?
Who knows? But no, they're not better. You're never better without Kevin Durant than you are with Kevin Durant. That just doesn't make sense.
You're never better without Kevin Durant than you are with Kevin Durant. However, this team is back in the finals minus Kevin Durant.
I didn't say you weren't still capable of winning a championship. What I said is you're never a better team without him than you are with him.
Okay. All right. Real quickly, let's look back at the Eastern Conference. Did the correct player win that Eastern Conference Finals? What is it is that the Bob Cousy or is that the Larry Bird?
That's the Larry Bird. Yeah, and I'm not cool with picking the team that didn't win and the best player on the team that didn't win. I've never been a big fan of that. Like, if your team didn't win, you really shouldn't be in the conversation. I remember back in the day, Thurman Thomas thought he should have been the Super Bowl MVP, and he didn't win. It's like, what are you talking about? It's like, if you don't win.
See, this is, Cleveland, you can't really cross sports like that. You can't really.
Okay, so let's say
analogy.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. So the year that the Golden State Warriors won it, they were talking about, man, should LeBron James be the most valuable player of the finals? It's like, no, he didn't win.
Really? Look at this. What did you say?
No, you have to win. So all the talk about Jimmy Butler being the best player, no. He wasn't.
Did he have the best series? Did he have the best series? 3 games over 40. 3 games over 40 points.
No, because they didn't
anybody
win.
Anybody go over 40 for Boston?
Not sure, but they didn't win.
Okay. I mean, so Jayson Tatum won it. Couldn't Marcus Smart have won that?
Nope.
Or Marcus Smart could have won it actually, or Brown could have won it. Or
nope.
I thought
Jayson Tatum won it because he deserved it.
No, he didn't. Stop it.
Oh, he didn't deserve it?
He was the best player. He was the best player he played the best on the Celtics who won, and that's why he won it. But Jimmy Butler had a very better series than Jayson Tatum. His team just didn't win. You disagree, huh?
Games 6 and 7 were spectacular. How were 3, 4, and 5?
Yeah. What about 1 and 2? Game 6 and 7, 1 and 2. Yeah, one and 2.
So it sounds like a little inconsistent, kind of like here and there.
I think over 4 games he had a better 4 games than Tatum had a better.
Okay. Well, apparently not because
he didn't win.
Won 4 games to 3. So.
Oh wow! Listen to this guy. Speaking of your Boston Celtics, one of your favorite players of all time, Mr. Bob Cousy, had some choice words for Mr. JJ Redick. JJ Redick has been blazing up the media charts here over the last couple of weeks, saying some having some explosive commentary. Everybody knows what he said about Bob Cousy and the painters, and the painters and the school teachers that he played with, and we heard Bob Cousy's reaction. I mean, I heard his reaction live, which I actually enjoyed it because I'm not one of the people who's pounding that Bob Cousy flag. I don't think he played against the stiffest competition, and I'm with JJ Redick when you say that those painters and those painters and landscapers that Bob Cousy was playing against obviously elevated his play. What do you think about the Cousy versus Redick debate? And now that since you heard JJ Redick eloquently explain where he was coming from, what do you think? What's your thoughts on this debate?
I don't give a lot of credence to someone that talks to an 8-time NBA champion with no championships. I mean, JJ Redick's been a cool spot up.
Wait.
JJ Redick's been a cool spot
because he doesn't have any championships. He can't comment on basketball.
No, I said an 8-time NBA champion. So if you have no championships and you've been a really cool spot up shooter, you're like 40% from the 3-point range, and that's kind of really all you can do.
That's all you can do.
And you want to like call somebody out because they didn't play against superior competition. Aaron Gordon's that can do 360s and grab a basketball off of a spinning mascot and dunk behind his head. I mean, that's not. Is that really basketball? Is that why you're saying this? I mean, it's kind of weird. It's all about athleticism and kind of how they've pushed the game forward. But I mean, do they really play the game as well as they used to, Cam? Or is it really more about spreading the floor in threes now and what you can do athletically? It's not really the game per se. And again,
obviously, yeah.
Again, I'm not saying like I'm like from the 60s or anything, but I mean an 8-time champion. It's a lot of championships, dude, to have 0 to talk about.
How many teams were in the league when he won those 8 championships?
Well, enough for him to win 8 enough that he won 8 championships.
How many teams were in the league when he won 8 championships? That would be my first question. How many teams? Were there only 8 teams?
Was there 8 versus 28? So having more teams doesn't dilute the talent, so the teams are not as good. Imagine the NBA right now had 20 teams, and all the teams were stacked with the talent of the 12 other teams.
I mean, Cleveland, man, I know the spirit of your father lives in you. I know it. I know it lives in you and it runs deep. But you didn't watch the games when your dad was watching the games.
I did not.
The games have changed.
I did not. Right. But how are you going to tell somebody? How are you going to say somebody played against painters and landscapers, and you have no chips, man? Like zero.
Well, so okay, so
you never even played for a championship.
So you're lost in the message because of the messenger. That's what it sounds like.
I'm lost in the message because of who the message was.
So if Charles Barkley came out and said that those guys were a bunch of painters and landscapers, you wouldn't have your argument. You wouldn't have much of an argument.
Okay. So check this out. So would you feel differently if his argument was the same for, like, say, Lenny Wilkens, for example?
What do you mean?
Lenny Wilkens is in the Hall of Fame.
Right. Yep.
Has done some things as a player and a coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
But was he really playing against really superior talent at his position?
Was Lenny Wilkens in the 60s, in the late 60s, early 70s, playing against better competition? Is that what you're asking?
So my question is, without any type of hardware or pedigree, I mean, other than being, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame.
I mean, that's huge. What do you mean that instead he was inducted into the Hall of Fame? That's huge. I mean, you can't just throw that aside.
Is that as big as the 8 championships? That's all I'm asking.
Is what, going to the Hall of Fame equal 8 championships? Is that what you're asking?
I think Bob Cousy is in the Hall of Fame as well. I think that we're just kind of splitting the hairs here.
Yeah, you are.
I mean, I understand.
You are splitting the hairs. Yes,
I understand where JJ's coming from. It's the same. I mean, I'm not going to compare sports, so I'll just say, yeah, the athletes were not as great back in the 60s and 70s. But when you say it just diminishes all of their accomplishments, I just don't agree with that part.
No, so let me make this clear. Let me make this clear for you and the fans and anybody else who's confused right now. The basketball players, actual basketball playing, the guys who played in the late 60s, 70s, and early 80s were probably the best basketball players. They use their mind infused with the actual game as it intended to be played. Those are probably the best astute basketball players. Today, we have a lot more talented athletes playing the game of basketball.
For sure.
And that probably started, I'm willing to say late 90s, early 2000s, were more talented players. They start drafting not on ability and what you've done, but on your potential. So that's when the game skews younger. That's when the game gets away from those guys who just play fundamentally great basketball versus athletes out here trying to fill the need. We need a 3-and-D guy, somebody who can score a little bit but plays more defense. Or we need somebody who can rebound a little bit and stays out the way and let our scorer go score. So the game has been more specialized in. But those guys in the 70s and early 80s, I think, played a better brand of basketball. But the guys today in the late 90s, 2000s, it's 2020, in those odds are just more athletic. Far more athletic, far more superior. So the game is, with the growth of the game, and that's what Redick is saying. The growth of the game, we're seeing better athletes play. The athletes that we see play today, the players that played back in the 60s and 70s, they couldn't compete athletically. But with the nuance of the game, the way it is, they were better mentally, so they probably can compete mentally, right? But I would take that guy with more athletic ability versus that guy. Well, we see it happening today. The guys with more athletic ability is getting taken over the guy with more basketball IQ. We see that happen each and every draft. Sure. So that's why I say the guys in the past, in the yesteryear, I can't go back so far, but the guys in a couple of decades ago were better basketball players versus today where we see more athletes.
Would agree. I'm just saying it was kind of a weird person to go after. Maybe somebody with not quite as many accomplishments would have been, you would have made your point a little clearer.
See, and you're lost in the message from the messenger.
I'm lost in the message as who the message was presented to. If he would have presented to someone else, it would be like, oh, okay, well, I see where you're kind of going with that. But I mean, you just went to like the tip top of the class. Like, wow.
We gotta go to the top and start chopping heads. That's what they gotta do. So in this series, Cleveland, we have KD left Golden State. Kyrie left the Celtics. They end up partnering together. We have Golden State and the Celtics playing in the NBA
Finals. Keep going.
Whose choice do you question the most? I can say. I want to say who made the right or wrong choice.
You question KD's choice the most. But both of their legacies are ruined by this.
Ruined, he says.
Ruined. Because their whole idea and premise was they were going to go out on their own, and they didn't like the way people were talking about them, and they weren't getting enough credit for their contribution to the championship. We're not even going to go to the Knicks. We're going to go to Brooklyn and start our own thing. Neither one of those teams, as it turns out, needed you. As supremely talented as both of you are, too much of a head case, not enough of a basketball player. Is that what we were just talking about? Yeah. Supremely athletic and a skill set that no one else has. No one else has Kyrie's handles and shot. No one else has KD's size and length. But what does that get you?
All right, so Cleveland, I sense a sense of disgust with, and maybe I should have picked up on this a little earlier in the season, but I picked up a huge sense of disgust in what Brooklyn's doing over there. Do they have the most pressure? Do they have the most pressure on them going into next season?
No,
they don't.
Because from the outside, because from the outside looking in, you would think so. But both of them have proven to be such head cases going forward that they won't even acknowledge what it is that they've lost for it even to be pressure on them.
I feel you. That's a good point. That is a good point, but not. I'm not looking for them to acknowledge that there's pressure. I'm not looking for them. I can say they have pressure without them telling me, "Oh, we accept this pressure. We accept this pressure." Oh, it's just we're still. I'm not buying this. We're still growing, and we can grow together. We need another season under our belt. I'm not buying that stuff. Do they have pressure on them? I think they are under the most pressure coming to the season. I think
but where's the pressure coming from? I guess is my question, because it's not
self-inflicted. It's not self-inflicted. Self-inflicted is what you're saying?
Not at all.
I mean, if you're a basketball fan, right? If you're
a basketball fan, but that's so it's from the outside, because it's not from the inside.
No, it's not from the inside. I'm agreeing with you. They're not acknowledging that there's pressure in the ether. Like they don't see it. Neither one of them see it. KD is sending is tweeting 17-year-olds, and Kyrie is. I mean, I don't know. Is he over there with Putin? Is he trying to save Zelensky right now? I don't know what he's doing right now. But what I'm saying is they're not going to acknowledge that there's pressure. But we all know, just watching the NBA, that there has to be pressure on this squad. Milwaukee, I would say Milwaukee and your sidekick. What's the sidekick's name in Milwaukee? He has pressure on him coming into next season.
Chris Middleton.
I would say they have pressure on them going into next season. Right now, as things stand, Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson have a lot of pressure on them going into next season. Can they be the marksmen that the Heat need them to be, or they might be? Duncan probably
the two teams that I feel have the most pressure on them next season are Philadelphia and Phoenix.
Yeah, I was getting to Philly. It's interesting that you say Phoenix, and you weren't really a believer in the Suns for most of the season, and so it's interesting that you would say Phoenix. Phoenix as they stood last season, because I guess Chris Paul's not going to go anywhere. But they're going to get rid of Ayton. Ayton's not going to be there next season. Do they have the same pressure without Ayton that they had with Ayton?
Oh, absolutely, because the window is like closing as we speak on Chris Paul, so you're not going to have that for very much longer.
I guess,
and Devin Booker has not ascended to that mercurial talent that we thought he was going to be. He had his chance last year, did not seize it. This year, I heard too many times, "Hey man, they were just throwing all kinds of defenses at me, and I'm a team player." It's like, no, nope. I need the ball because I can do special things with this basketball that you guys can't do.
Phoenix have more pressure on them than the Brooklyn Nets.
You have to embrace the pressure for it to be pressure. It's only pressure from the outside. They don't care if they win or lose. They've already established that. They wanted to go somewhere and, put their own stake in the ground as if they were those guys. But we see on both sides, like you said, on the Boston and the Golden State side, like, no, we can get all the way here without you. And one of those teams, it's going to be the Golden State Warriors, will win without you. And that whole argument that we had 2 years ago, you see why we had that argument. You came to a team that was 73-9 the year before.
Yeah.
You were an insurance policy. You got those two.
Wow. He just called the man. He just called the sharpshooter an insurance policy. He just said
Cameron, they were 73-9 the year before Kevin Durant got there and lost the championship in Game 7. And then you bring the MVP of the league into the fold. I mean, yeah. I mean, if for some reason we can't do it, well, now we have Kevin Durant, and there's just no way you're going to win. And he didn't like that. He didn't like the fact that everybody loved Steph and didn't love him. He got the 2 finals MVPs. Why don't they love me like they love Steph? Gets into a little spat with Draymond. Draymond gets into a spat with everybody. Man, can you handle that personality or no? He decided his time was up there. He wanted to go prove to everybody that you win or lose championships because of Kevin Durant. Okay, well, that Brooklyn experiment is not going over well. And now you want to bring in, oh my gosh, the third head case, Ben Simmons, man. You want to bring in a third, what's the meaning of life kind of guy? Like, maybe basketball is not the most important thing.
Well, I don't know if he's that far gone, but we'll see. Well, again, adding to that pressure, I think they have the most pressure going into the next season.
The pressure is on the organization to try and hold all of this together. The pressure is not on them because it's not self-induced. It's from the outside.
Well, that's fair. That's fair, and I'm not looking at it like how they are receiving it and how they're absorbing it. I'm looking. There's pressure on them whether they want to acknowledge it, admit it, or deal with it or not. There's pressure on that team to kind of.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, their legacies take hits, and their contribution, becomes less and less significant the more times they don't get to the finals. And as at present, they haven't been there yet. So
yeah. So we talked about the Celtics We talked about the Warriors. Are you more impressed with the young Celtics climbing back up the ladder to get here, or the veteran Warriors for getting back to the finals?
Celtics.
You're more impressed with the Celtics?
For sure.
There you go, Boston. Take one. It finally got this guy to compliment you guys after 5 weeks of playoff action. I think that's the first compliment we got from Cleveland about the Celtics.
I picked them to beat the Miami Heat, as you recall. So, I mean, let's not act like I'm just browbeating these guys to death. I picked them to win the last series.
That's really has been. Unsung. So going into the finals, there's going to be unsung heroes, right? That the unsung hero is not the superstars. The unsung hero of this finals is more likely to be Al Horford or Jordan Poole. Who's going to be the most decisive who's going to determine the game, have more impact on determining the wins of the NBA championship? Jordan Poole or Al Horford?
Between those two, it would be Jordan Poole.
After all we saw what Al Horford did for the Celtics coming back, and one question I didn't get to ask Al Horford is, when they traded him, what was this thing? What was the stop when they traded him? And coming back, what was this not coming back? Did you go step right into the same role you had before you left? Because before you left, you were a key cog of this team. So trading you wasn't the best, didn't make the best of sense, I didn't think. But now that you're back, we see how he fits into the squad and kind of how that works. But you say Jordan Poole, huh?
Yeah.
Can Jordan Poole, is he going to be able to outduel Jayson Tatum?
No. Jordan, I don't understand. What are you trying to say?
Is he going to be able to outduel Jayson Tatum? Because I'm sure they're going to be matched up.
You would have to ask that question whether Steph Curry or Klay Thompson. Why would you go to like the half dragon talking about Jayson Tatum? That's kind of disrespectful to Jayson Tatum, right?
I mean, we don't
Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Yeah, Jordan Poole's not going to be in the conversation.
Well, I expect Jordan Poole to match up with Jayson Tatum more so than Steph Curry or Klay Thompson. I expect Jordan Poole to have that matchup more so.
Well, hopefully not, because he'll be in a lot of foul trouble. I expect to see a lot more of my dude Jonathan Kuminga, really.
Yeah, who hasn't been around. And like I said, where's Juan Toscano-Anderson? He's another long wing who's been playing good defense all season.
See, hey, you're getting a little too far down the bench now. You're starting to reach for people like, hey.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I don't think you have a stamp, bro. I don't see your stamp. I see you in line, but you're not getting across the road here.
He didn't get in there, huh?
Into the game? Yeah.
So let's look at some prop bets that I came up with here. NBA prop bet for the NBA Finals. Does Al Horford record a double-double in Game 1?
Yeah,
he should, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jayson Tatum over under 28.5 in Game 1.
So that's an excellent number, Cam. You pretty much nailed it. I would have to say over.
You say over.
I would have to say over.
And we're talking about in Game 1. I don't think so. I think because he is the lone scorer on the team, like they're going to be focused on him more so than Brown, Smart. You know who another guy I didn't talk to today was or I wanted to talk to today, but they called practice, was Grant Williams. Grant Williams is a big dude. He's not tall, but he's a big guy. Like physically like big and thick and stock. That guy I wanted to chat to. I wanted to chat with him, but wasn't able to. I don't think so. I say no. Cleveland says yes. I say no. I don't think he's going to go over 28 points in game one. So we'll see how that plays out. Who wins Finals MVP? I thought I had another prop bet in there. Who wins the NBA Finals MVP?
Klay Thompson.
Oh, come on. Klay will not win the NBA Finals MVP. You need something on that?
No, you just asked my opinion. It's not a wagering kind of a question. It's a prop bet.
It sounds like a wagering question. The response you gotta.
How it's a series. Why would I put something on a series as to what one individual is going to accomplish? No,
I don't. Yeah, Finals MVP. It'll probably if the Warriors win, it's going to be Steph. I mean, the only way Steph doesn't win the Finals MVP and the Warriors win is if he doesn't play in games 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's the only way. That's the only way he doesn't win. Who you got as this guy? Who you got as Finals MVP? Who's Finals MVP? Mr. TPJ Thomas Price. What's good with you, by the way? Who you got as Finals MVP? Let the people know.
I mean, Steph has not won a NBA's Final MVP to this point, right?
Yeah, that's why he wins it.
Because he hasn't won one. There you go, TP. Say that.
Klay is not winning the NBA. He's not.
Can't understand who would have to understand where we're coming from, TP. You didn't understand who. And Marcus Smart's going to be on him all the time. So, I mean, it's going to be like, damn. He's going to have
He's not. Klay Thompson. I got both of you guys.
He's going to be fighting somebody in a phone booth every time. I mean, this is the defensive player of the year. That's his whole responsibility is to try and slow down Klay. Slow down Steph. And he's going to slow him down at 22, 23. Which is just going to leave Klay open to do what,
Clickbait, you got the link. Clickbait, hey, you got the link. Chime in. Get in here and chime in with us. Because I don't think you believe in what you're saying. Steph is going to get double.
Real.
Klay is going to win the NBA MVP. Come on. I got more questions for you. Just chime in here. Get in here, TPJ. Get in here. Finals. Who you got? I got Warriors in 6. Who you got, Cleveland?
Exactly the same.
Warriors in 6. Okay, that makes it easy. I can't get no ribs on this one. I think I can get some ribs on the Finals MVP because it won't be Klay. We know that for certain. So Cleveland, you revised your pick. Initially, you had the Lakers and the Nets. You revised it to Golden State and the Sixers. I initially had the Nets and the Nuggets. I revised it to Sixers and Suns. So I guess you got to win. And you got one guy. One of your guys made it. The Lakers and the Nets. Neither one of them. Oh, one team made it to the play-in tournament. Made it out of the play-in tournament, but. I don't know. I'm excited about the NBA Finals. Cleveland, you want to add something else about the NBA Finals that we have coming up? Again, fans, once again, please, pre-game content. Make sure you check out at Voice of the Fans, at _ Voice of the Fans, on Twitter, at _ Voice of the Fans on Twitter. I'll probably have some Instagram stuff. That's Voice of Fans on Instagram, Voice of Fans. I'll probably have some live pregame content on Voice of Fans. Please check that out. And then I'll go to the YouTube page as well, Voice of the Fans on YouTube. because I'll be live streaming. Probably do a live chat before the game and a live chat after the game, waiting for the press conferences to begin. The press conferences will be. I'll probably record those, so it won't be live. But if you go NBA Finals, NBA.com, you can find the finals post-game press conferences that I'm sure to participate in. But please participate, fans. Support your guy out here traveling the country, trying to bring you guys exclusive content.
Oh man,
there he is.
There we go. What's up, man?
Let's welcome Clickbait One into the live stream. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Thomas, happy Father's Day coming up.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope
the family as well.
Yes, family as well. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Finals MVP. Good? I'm doing good, man. Thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in, Mr. Busy Man. You got Clay you got Steph, Clay winning the Finals MVP. How and why?
Yeah.
Explain that to the people.
To me, he should have won Conference Finals MVP.
Oh, get out of here!
No, for real. Like, Game 5 was the most important game of that series, and he put them to bed in Game 5. You go back to
Thomas,
San Francisco.
Thomas, they played 4 games. They played 4 games before Game 5.
Huh?
They played 4 games before Game 5. I'm not sure if you know that or not.
Okay, so what? Like,
he wasn't. He wasn't the decision factor.
But it wasn't Stephen Curry's. He wasn't the reason why they were beating the Mavericks. The Mavericks beat themselves in Game 2. Quite honestly.
Okay.
And the bench actually was the reason why they, kind of kept that lead and won that game. It wasn't because of Steph Curry. So if we're going to be honest, let's just have an honest conversation. Like, I love Steph Curry, but if we want to be honest about it, the most important and the most impactful player in most of these series has been Clay when they need him.
He's been good. I don't know about most impactful, TPJ. He's been good, and they needed him. I don't know about most impactful. What do you think? What do you think about who's been most impressive to you in this playoff run? The young Celtics climbing the ladder to get back to where they are, or the veteran Warriors for getting back to the finals?
Neither one of them, honestly. I'm not impressed by either one of them. I'm not impressed by the Celtics because they won. They beat a bunch of good teams, but I feel like they beat a bunch of they beat a bunch of teams that weren't necessarily at their optimal kind of strength. And I don't blame injuries. I'm not mad they got to the finals, but I'm not gonna I don't have an abundance of credit for them because they have to win it. If they win the finals, then they'll get all the credit from me because honestly, literally before the season, I had them missing the playoffs. I had them being the 11th seed, and to start off the season, they were terrible. They were absolutely awful. And then Udoka. No, I'm talking about the Celtics.
The Celtics. Yeah.
I had them missing the playoffs, and they were terrible to start the season. Then Ime Udoka pulled Tatum and Brown in the room and said, "Hey, pass the ball to each other, to your teammates."
And remember, Marcus Smart called him out. Said they're not going to get better unless they learn to pass the ball.
But even before he did that, Ime Udoka pulled him in a room and was like, "Pass the ball." Then Marcus Smart pulled him in a room. I mean, then he said what he said, and then they had, I believe they had a little team meeting. And then after that team meeting, they came out and they've been playing way, way better. The difference between them and everybody else is like their 1-2 combination is a consistent 1-2 combination. No one that they play had a consistent 1-2 combination. When KD had a good game, Kyrie had a terrible game. When Kyrie had a good game, KD had a subpar game. When Giannis had a great game, Drew Holiday was shooting 7 of 24 from the field, and Chris Middleton was on the bench.
Really? Was he?
I mean, exactly. But you feel me. When Jimmy Butler was having great games, Kyle Lowry was dealing with the hamstring injury and hobbled and not himself. The funniest part was, I went to a party with Joe, who is now the co-host of Hoops and Brews. And I went to a party with him and all his friends. I guess they all big Hoops and Brews fans. So they all came up to me and argued with me about basketball. And I told them, the Celtics are going to beat the Heat. And they're like, "No, you're tripping. The Heat are going to beat the Celtics." I'm like, "They're not going to beat the Celtics." I'm like, "The Celtics are going to win in 6, which they should have won in 6, but they just laid an egg." I'm like, "But watch, they're going to beat the Heat. Like, the Heat don't have enough firepower each game to beat those two guys. The Warriors are the first team that they're going to play that actually has enough firepower offensively to beat them every single night, just strictly off buckets. If Steph goes 7-24, Clay can still go 9-19 and give you 30.
So you got
this is
a sweep. You got this a sweep.
Give you 26. No, it's not a sweep. Not a sweep at all. I think I'm picking the Warriors in 7, but it depends on Jayson Tatum. I said this on Hoops and Brews when I hopped on Memorial Day. The Jayson Tatum this is his legacy year. If they win a championship this year, he's gonna be a top 100 basketball player to ever play basketball, and arguably a top 75 basketball player to ever play basketball. If you look at the level of competition that he still played, even though I just said what I said about all of the injuries and stuff, still been a very high level of competition. It's not like Giannis and Middleton were out. It's not like Kyrie and Ben was out. It's not like Lowry and Jimmy was out. Like Bam was still out there. The whole team was still out there except for Kyle Lowry. And Kyle Lowry is a guy that don't score points. He just like affects the game. So if he don't score points, Jimmy got to go get 45 every night.
So hold on, let me challenge you. Let me challenge you, TP. You saying this is a legacy series for Jayson Tatum?
Yeah. What you talking about?
This is his first finals appearance.
It's players in the top 15 all time that haven't won a championship. Top 20 all time that haven't won a championship.
No, but my point is in his young. No. Listen to me. In his young career, he's been in the Eastern Conference Finals 3 of his 4 years.
I don't care. If you win a championship, you're immortalized. Them conference finals only matter.
I get that. No.
Finals only matter because they wanted to give consolation prizes out.
No. Listen.
I'm finna let y'all in on a little secret. The consolation prize for these conference finals is only because I'm letting y'all in on a new secret. The NBA is trying to be soccer. So what they're going to do is they're going to start all this pool play after they add these 2 new teams in Seattle and Vegas around 2026. And then all of these little trophies that they give out to people and bonuses and stuff will start to matter because it'll be like the WNBA Commissioner's Cup kind of thing. So they're just priming us up to be like, yo, you might not have won the championship, but like, here's a runner-up award. Like there was like a runner-up award in the NBA. Like, are you kidding me? Like, are you serious?
So you
like for real? Like they giving away runner-up awards in the NBA. So you Jayson Tatum, you won the first ever runner-up award named after Larry Bird. You beat Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green in the postseason to win the championship. You are immortalized. And you're only 24. And you're only 24.
That's my point. That's right there. You never hit the head on the head.
If he loses, he can never make the finals again. And we just say Tatum was really good. He took the Celtics to the finals one year, but he always could have been like that guy. If he wins, he will forever be known as that guy. Like you want to be Kobe, you go win a championship. You don't I don't need the text messages and the rhetoric. Just go win a championship. And then I say, damn, that was very Mamba-like.
You said a couple things. You said a couple things that we got to talk about. We got to unpack it. First and foremost, you pointed out how young Tatum is, and Tatum's he's been in the Eastern Conference Finals 3 of his first 5 years in the league. Now that doesn't mean that to me. Him getting to the finals, nobody here, we all expect Golden State to win this finals. So we don't expect Tatum to get over this hump there. I don't think this is a lost season for Tatum. In fact, Tatum gets exalted for getting
words, but you're putting words and context into my mouth that I didn't say. Because I didn't say he would be criticized if he lost. I said this is a legacy year for him, and if he wins the championship, he is immortalized.
But when you say this is a legacy, hold on, boss. When you say this is a legacy year for him, you're saying the alternative is if he doesn't win a championship, it's been a shit year. That's how I kind of take it.
The alternative is you get to be looked at in the upper, like literally, you cannot name. There are a ton of players in the top 50 NBA players of all time that have not won a championship. There are a ton of players in the NBA top 75 of all time, where Jayson Tatum was not elected to, that have that have not won a championship. Right. Immediately, based upon what he's already done in his career, he usurps a ton of those guys
right,
on that
I agree.
list.
I agree with you on that.
I
agree with you. I agree with you on that.
If he does not, that does not mean that he is any less of a player. What it means is, for the purposes of his legacy and his greatness, right? He has to work to get back there. Just because he made it there this year, wait a minute. Just because he made it there this year doesn't mean he's guaranteed to get back. He can never make another finals again. And you telling me that him losing this finals wouldn't affect his legacy? Yes, it does.
Well, okay. If you're saying yes,
him, but we're not gonna act like if he lose the finals, like it's not gonna suck and it's not gonna be used against him in the future in terms of argument as we talking about legacy. Like if he win a championship, he got the same amount of championships with the Celtics as Kevin Garnett.
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying if he wins.
And Rajon Rondo.
Yeah, great point. Great point. If he wins, but I'm saying because he's 24, he has the pressure is not on him to win today, to win this in the next 2 weeks.
That's a lie. It's still
that, I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Talking about trading him and his partner away from each other before they went to the finals. They figured it out. Yeah, you figured it out and you got here this year. But next year, Chris Middleton, it probably might. What if he's not hurt? What if next year you go up and you face the same team?
I feel you.
And you get your ass because they're healthy.
I understand what you're saying.
Guarantee that he's going to get back there. Even with the Clippers, when the Clippers lost to the Nuggets in the bubble, everybody's like, "Oh, well, they're going to be right back there next year. The team going to be right back." Woo, woo, woo. Kawhi get ACL surgery.
They both hurt. Two guys hurt.
Get hurt again. Gone. A championship run. Over with. You got to rebuild from scratch. So
Thomas. We can't lose track of. You're bringing up a lot of things. No, you're bringing up a lot of things. You're bringing up a lot of things that I want to hit right now. Paul George not playing in their final playoff games. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm fine with that.
That didn't bother you at all? Not playing in the final game because he had the COVID. He told the doctor he had COVID the night before, so he didn't play in that final game, and they got smacked around.
I mean, let's stop. Let's stop this because we remember a time when there was no sports on, and we were sitting up here waxing philosophically about if we would ever see sports again, and calling these players irresponsible for going to nightclubs and partying and giving each other COVID. So if he's going to be responsible with his body and responsible for the other people that he's around, including yourself, myself, my child, the people that I live with, and the other reporters and the other people that he's accountable to, he had every right within himself to say, "Yo, I have COVID." There's nothing wrong with that. Like, sit your sick ass at home. Y'all weren't going to win no championship anyways. They weren't going to win a championship. Like, it wasn't going to happen.
I was on the.
Next year it can happen, but
I was
it wasn't going to happen.
I was on a total different page. I'm a total different page. But you hit a lot of topics, so thank you for hitting on that one.
You rather he lie and go out with COVID and play with COVID. That's what you're saying,
Thomas. I personally am a competitor. I'm a competitor. Had I woke up that morning.
With all due respect, how many times have you had COVID? With all due respect.
I haven't.
Okay, I've had COVID 4 times.
I haven't.
Get the fuck out of here. Excuse my language. Stop it. You're
being ridiculous. What I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying.
I am a young man.
Hear me out.
Physically fit, and I had COVID 4 times, and every time I had it, it hit me like a ton of bricks. And he also has children and a wife.
Yeah. That's fair.
He has the people to be accountable for all that competitive stuff. Go out the window. It's not the flu. It's not like the regular flu. Not like 2 years from now, I feel you. But now, no. I just 3 playoff games.
Thomas, I just don't know. I just don't know I don't know that I'm calling the doctor. We wake up, it's game 7. I don't know that I'm calling the doctor to say, "Hey, I'm not feeling right." I don't know that I'm making that call. That's all I'm saying.
If you have never had COVID, Cam, knock on wood right now. You've never had COVID, okay? You are being disrespectful to anyone that has ever had COVID. Because that is ridiculous. When you get it,
I'm just saying.
No. When you get it, it creeps up on you. You get you might feel a little something, and then it hits you. And once it hits you, it's over. Sit your ass down. Drink some Pedialyte and pray to God you live.
I feel you. I was probably one of the few that thought like that. But I just wanted to get. I just wanted to get your. Big Dog, I just want to get your opinion. I'm one of the few who had that mindset, so I just wanted to get your opinion. Another question we had.
That's clickbait right there. That's clickbait.
That's clickbait.
That's clickbait.
No, that's
Paul George should have played with COVID is clickbait. That's clickbait.
Well, I didn't say Paul George should have played with COVID. What I'm saying is I don't know who I'm calling in that morning when the playoff time is coming. I don't know who I'm making that phone call to.
Sure, Cam.
I'm just saying, Big Dog. Who's the unsung hero of this finals? I got for the Celtics to win. I think Al Horford has to be their unsung hero, and then obviously for Golden State to win, I don't think Jordan Poole has to carry them to a championship. That's not at all what I'm saying. But I think Jordan Poole, by his consistent play, he'll be an unsung hero in this finals. What do you have an unsung hero per se?
Cleveland, have you answered already?
Yeah, the original question was who would be more impactful, Jordan Poole or Al Horford, and I said Jordan Poole. Because
who do you have as your X factor though? As Cam asked me,
my X factor is Kuminga. It's Jonathan Kuminga.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. I actually agree with that on the Warriors side. And I said this to Pavi and Joel on Hoops and Brews on Monday. He's gonna take someone's starting spot next year. And
Kuminga?
If that means Draymond shifts to the small ball 5, somebody's moving because he's still 20. He could grow another inch realistically. He's bigger than if Draymond is playing power forward, he can play power forward. And you can put him in that Tatum kind of role or move Wiggins to the 4 so that way he can get a little bit more space. And I don't think Wiggins needs the ball in his hands as much as they need him to slash and rebound and play defense. And I think he can still be an all-star, honestly, if he just hustled. Like, I think if he wins a championship this year, Wiggins should be thinking, if I hustle hard enough, we could win another one. And then, like, the conversation about me has changed forever.
Oh, yeah, certainly.
Like, he's not a legacy player, but, like, you could, like, he has been remembered so far up to this point as, like, a bust or largely as, like, a lukewarm player. He has the ability to, like, change the course of, like, the way people will talk about him in the future. So I think Kuminga actually will be, because when they go to that small ball lineup, the Celtics probably going to run out Smart, Tatum, Brown, Grant Williams, and I think they're probably going to try to run out a combination like Derek White out there, or the kid Pritchard to try to keep some shooting on the floor and some spacing. And I think if I'm the Warriors and I'm Curry, I'm gonna counter with Kuminga, and I'm gonna keep Looney off the floor because we can't switch with Looney, and then I'm gonna let the young kid play. He might not play more than 10 minutes a game, but those 10 minutes I think could be valuable because he also rebounds, he attacks the glass offensively, and he can also block shots. For the Celtics, I think the player for them that's the X factor is Robert Williams. If he plays, I tweeted this, if he averages 10 and 10, the Celtics will win the series.
He was in sweats today. He's in sweats, just to let you guys know. Everybody else before I was on the court before their practice.
But he's coming back off of surgery, correct? No disrespect.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But I'm just saying that people was expecting him to play, and he was in sweats today. Everybody else was practicing. He was not in practice. He was not in practice gear.
I'm fine with that. Give him his rest because we got 7 games, big fella, and if your knee fall off, we gonna need your knee to fall off. Because Kevon Looney multiple times this playoffs has given you more than 20 rebounds in a game, and multiple times given you more than 15 rebounds a game. I think what the Warriors are gonna do defensively is run Al Horford off the floor. There's been no team that the Celtics have faced offensively that can like out execute them with Al Horford on the floor. Like he's so smart. And usually the teams that he's playing against are running a larger front court. So that power forward has to like account for Al Horford's mind, but also account for him defensively. So it's tough because if you got Robert Williams down there, he erasing all of the mistakes, getting blocks. He rebounds well. He actually like has like great movement from side to side. So like he can be on one side of the floor and get to the other side of the floor really quickly. If you're the Warriors, if you go and you get out rebounded and outshot, you're gonna get destroyed. But that depends on Robert Williams. If Al Horford has to be the main center in the game or Grant Williams, the Celtics are gonna lose. But if the Celtics can leave Robert Williams in the game and Al Horford in the game, they'll win. But Robert Williams has to give me 10 points, 10 rebounds. Honestly,
how many minutes you trying to get out of Williams?
I want him to give me as many minutes as he can give me. Like when you look on the floor, the Warriors haven't played anybody with a center that's defensively or offensively as dynamic as Robert Williams when it comes to attacking the rim. Like they have not played a center that's that good, that can actually like get to the rim and attack. Is a lob threat, but not like attack like you give him the ball and move out the way. But like you run a pick and roll and he's going to the rim. He's not trying to get a free throw jumper or a 3-pointer or a finesse layup. He's going trying to dunk on you. The Warriors ain't playing nobody like that. Like not at all. Like Max Keebler is cool, but like he want to shoot threes.
Yeah.
Boban didn't play. Who did they play the series before that? No real big man that could attack.
Yeah,
that was like
it was Memphis. They had Bane and Jaren Jackson.
Yeah, like I like Jaren Jackson, but he want to shoot threes. He don't want to attack the basket. He want to shoot threes, get that elbow jumper, get him a fadeaway. Like he's not like on a pick and roll, like diving to the rim with all intents to destroy you. And they haven't played that. And if he can put Draymond Green on a poster a few times, it's gonna start to get scary. Because then if you Steve Kerr, now you got to counter with Looney and bring Looney back in the game. But if Robert Williams in the game, then you can match up Robert Williams with Looney in the game. And then you can put Al Horford back on Draymond Green, and Al Horford can just sag off Draymond Green, and you can just shade your double team to whatever side you want to. So that way you can just let Draymond take all of the 3-point shots. Watch, you're going to see Draymond get the most amount of 3-point shots and, top of the key threes and corner threes you've ever seen him get in his life. They probably going to let him get a bunch of wide open drives to the lane. Because if Al Horford and Robert Williams on the floor, I'm literally move away from Draymond Green. Whoever the ball or the screen that's coming around or that little wheel route they like to run with Steph when they get the rebound and he come back around and dip around Looney or whatever to get the 3, Al, you should be right over there with a hand over there trying to disrupt that pass. And so we make Draymond Green beat us.
So you got this being a good series.
7.
You got 7. This being a real good series. It sounds like
7. It's going 7. I really believe it's going 7. If it doesn't go 7, it'll go 6. But I really believe it's going 7. The Celtics. I've been a Warriors fan. This whole brand started because Warriors fan and Pavi was a LeBron fan. So I've been a Warriors fan. I've been watching them for a ton of years. And the only team that has really given them problems over the years has been the Chicago Bulls with Derrick Rose, like on his last leg, and Jimmy Butler, and the Celtics team, the baby Celtics, and the Celtics in general. They give them.
Did the Bulls make the playoffs this year? Cleveland, did the Bulls make the playoffs this year?
Stop playing with me. Yes, we did. We got destroyed, but we made it.
We did.
Ain't nothing you can do about Giannis, though. I'm sorry. It really wasn't. Like Zach LaVine saw Giannis Antetokounmpo and said, "All right, I'm going to Los Angeles. We got to."
Hey, what's the rumor? You just hit me on that. What's the rumor? Zach LaVine to LA? Is that real deal?
LeVar Ball saying that. He's saying that basically Zach
don't like Zach.
Yeah, no, he did start that. He said that basically Zach don't want to share the ball. Like Zach was fine, like with the potential and the thought of being able to share the ball with a Lonzo type of guy. He's like, but basically once DeMar came in and DeMar started playing better than him, the team became basically Lonzo and DeMar's team, and Zach won a team that's his team. But I want to know how that works. What Zach LaVine wants his own team, but he thinks going to play with LeBron James is going to be the solution for his career.
Because that's not long term, though. That's not long term. That's not long term.
Man, look.
That's not long term.
Look, in order for Zach LaVine to even go to the Lakers, there has to be a sign and trade involved. Yeah. Nobody's signing and trading for Russell Westbrook. That's Donovan
coached them though in OKC. There was a good relationship.
No, there was a good relationship. No, if you're the Bulls, you don't need Russell Westbrook.
I feel you. I'm just saying, Donovan knows him though. You know, he knows him.
Try to get a shooter or another star, and I think honestly, they should call up Denver and say, "Hey, y'all want to get rid of Nikola Jokic? We know y'all just signed this big deal, but like, hey, what you want? We'll give you anything you want from him. Anything, and anybody you want for that man."
I don't know. I don't think they. I think they're hanging with the phone.
I know they wouldn't do it, but I would still make the call. I will give you anything you want for Nikola Jokic.
Last question for you. Now, Big Chicago native. Know your affinity for Jimmy Buckets. 16 seconds on the clock. Down 2. A chance to go to the NBA Finals. She'd have taken that 3-pointer or she'd have drive to the bucket and tied the game up.
What would LeBron James have done?
Oh, come on. We know he's going to the hole. He's not cheating. He's going to the hole.
Going to the hole and he's passing that ball out to the corner to be shot for a 3. Okay. Let's not pretend. I give Jimmy Butler all the credit in the world because it takes a lot of balls to pull up and take that shot. I think the only thing and the only mistake that he made was when he was coming up the court, he should have he just should have switched up his pace a little bit because by the time he got ready to shoot the ball, his body was a little too much in front of him. So it kind of
leaned into it. He leaned into it
a little bit too much.
That's true.
Because he was trying to basically get Al Horford to do what he did, which was sink down toward the rim.
Right.
But he should have like he was going like 2 times speed. If he would have been going 1.8 speed, he would have made that shot. So I'm not mad at him. Also, is the goal not to live and die with your best player? If Jimmy Butler was on the Chicago Bulls, yeah, I would have been mad. But you know what? That's Jimmy Butler.
No. I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at that shot.
So if we gave you the name Jimmy Buckets, we gave you that name because you get buckets and you gonna shoot the ball. Even Draymond Green said on his podcast, said everybody that know Jimmy Butler knew Jimmy Butler was gonna shoot that ball. If you know Jimmy Butler. So I don't even know why people
Jimmy Buckets is not Jimmy 3-pointer though. Jimmy Buckets is not Jimmy 3-pointer though.
I don't care. Hoopers hoop. It don't matter. Can you hoop? If you can hoop, it don't matter. I'm gonna give him the ball. I'm gonna give Giannis the ball at the end of the game in that situation. And guess what? If Giannis would have came up the court and pulled up for a 3, I would have said, "What the hell you doing?" But guess what? I would have had to.
Yeah. I'm not mad at the shot. I thought because of the way the game was going, Boston was in a. They've been trying to give the game away. So now they kind of have that momentum.
I'm gonna take it. If I go to the rim, let's say I go to the rim. Al Horford, Hall of Fame player. Don't care what nobody say.
You got Al in the Hall of Fame? You just stuck Al in the Hall of Fame?
2-time national NCAA champion in
basketball.
college.
Okay, it's basketball. That's fair.
8-time NBA, 8-time plus, I believe, NBA All-Star. All NBA.
I understand it.
He's made the finals now, and he's played actually better this season than he played probably the past 4 years.
Yeah,
he took that year off in OKC. He revitalized himself.
OKC is a revitalized. OKC is the fountain of youth. Okay, because your boy CP went there and did the same thing.
Hey, you go take us. I bet it's nice to take a rest.
Hey, but I was just I just thought it was Jimmy Butler's jumper. I'm not mad that he took the jumper. Obviously, he's the man of the team. He does what he wants. I thought if he gets fouled, though, if he goes to the hole, he draws a foul for Horford. There's his 3-pointer. You extend the game, especially because the way Boston was playing. Boston was giving it up. They're playing not to lose, obviously, while they're losing the game. Miami's doing the right things. Extend that game. You shoot the 3-pointer, you miss it, you lose.
If Michael Jordan took that shot, you wouldn't have been complaining. So don't complain about Jimmy Butler. He's led that team to the finals before. Led that team to the finals before. Let's not forget that. He actually did that before. And he was a shot away. And he was a shot away from doing it. It's not like a KD thing where his foot was on the line, none of that. Like, he saw the opportunity. I'm the man. I could go to the rim. What if Al Horford don't foul? I mean, what if he don't foul me? Al is a veteran. What if Al just get to the rim and just put his arms up and then it get reviewed? Or you've been seeing all these accidental offensive foul calls that have been reviewed due to elbows being thrown, all the other stuff. It's a million other variables that could have happened.
Sure.
If he had taken that ball beyond the 3-point line. If he chose out of all of them to say, look, I'm going to end this. Like, we also have to think about it. Same thing with Jimmy Butler. Legacy year for him. Legacy shot for him. Unfortunately, it did not go his way.
That was a hero shot. That was a hero ball shot.
We'll ever remember him for missing that shot. But if he would have made that shot and they would have made the finals, and let's just say the Heat beat the Warriors, You're not telling me Jimmy Butler not now a top 75 player of all time, and not now better than a lot of guys, including one Tracy McGrady. Than a lot of guys.
Come on, that ain't even a question. That shot. Had he made that shot is very reminiscent of Barkley jumper over David Robinson. If that shot goes in, that's what it is very reminiscent of. And again, I'm not pounding on him for taking a shot. It was in rhythm. It was a 3-pointer. Like there was some things he could have slowed down just a little bit. I got you, but I just thought, recognizing what had actually happened, he did miss a shot. I thought if he goes to the hole, I think that's an easier shot. And it extends a game where Boston was choking up over themselves. Like he gave them another chance to kind of catch their breath with that shot, because now they get fouled.
Correct.
Boston didn't correct. Yeah.
No.
Boston was a terrible. Oh, Chicago. No. Chicago was good. Boston was choking.
I think the Heat didn't have any timeouts. Correct. At the end of that game with 16 seconds left.
I'm not sure if they had timeouts or not. I'm not sure. I don't recall if they had.
I believe they had a timeout left. And also, if they didn't have a timeout left, I'm not blaming Jimmy Butler. I'm blaming Eric Spoelstra. Call a timeout. Stop playing. Draw something up. Get you a good play.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
If they choke in the game where realistically we can out execute them in 16 seconds offensively to get a shot at the rim, if that's the case.
But now, TP. So now you take Boston, who has been playing great defense over the last 6 months of the season. Now you do have your number one guy on the wing with the chance to go ahead with only Al Horford in front of him. I'd rather not call the timeout. So now they set everything up.
I'm not questioning it. So I'm not questioning him. If I'm going to give him that much respect,
I feel you got right with the direction
man.
It goes.
We'll be back next year. And he played
he played 48 minutes. Yeah,
he played the whole game too. So it's not even if you spoke, you could be like, man, you could have made a better decision. It's like, man, I'm tired. I played the whole game.
Yeah, shit. Hey, leave me alone.
We actually have to remember. I believe the Heat were either on a 15-0 run or a 17-0 run at that point in time.
Yeah.
So if you would have hit that shot, it would have capped off like an 18-0 or 20-0 run. That's some of the most historic shit we've ever seen in our lives. That's like, you know what I mean? So
that's what I'm saying. Mighty Mo was on their side.
Lost the game. I'm sorry. Even people saying that the Celtics won. I'm sorry, that they lost the game, that the Heat just didn't win it. I disagree with that. When you young, you got to play to the buzzer end. You think they not gonna remember that for the rest of their life? Like, hey, we thought we was going to the finals. It was 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. Right. We up 18, and we give up a 15-0 run, and Jimmy have a 3 to win the game. I bet you that won't happen during versus the Warriors if they get up.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's going to be that close against. I don't think it's going to be that close against the Warriors. Thomas, we happy. He came out of retirement, folks. He came out of retirement. Joining you guys on Voice of the Fans. Let the people know where they can find you, Thomas.
You don't need to find me nowhere, man. Keep following me. Make sure you follow Cam, follow Cleavon. Shout out to them, legends in their own right. Much respect. I tune into the show whenever I can, always, as you see when I drop some comments. So, keep doing what y'all doing, and I definitely appreciate you for telling me to come through.
Appreciate you for coming through, man. Stay safe and kiss the wife for me.
All right, man. Peace.
All right, later. That was Mr. Thomas, and Cleveland is over there excited. You and Thomas don't agree on a lot of things, and yet you were silent because you agreed to everything he had to say.
Well, I mean, first of all, he came out and already said that, who he was talking about to win the finals MVP and, kind of sided with me on that. But I thought even more to the point, and I found a few things very interesting about what he was saying with regards to Jayson Tatum and his legacy, because I felt exactly the same way last year when Giannis and Devin Booker had the chance and there was nobody in their path that had like this lineage to championships and all of these things. It was just there for the taking. And I backed the Devin Booker side of things. I thought Devin Booker was going to show out and be like, I'm Kobe's, last apprentice. And, I'm just going to show everybody who I am. And then Giannis went in for 50 and 14 and completely changed the course of history. Right. So I don't believe that Jayson Tatum has that ability because he's not going up against someone that hasn't been there before. For example, if he was going up against, say, Luka Doncic, I might give him a little bit, more of a pass or a little bit more of a favorable opportunity to do that. But I just think that because of who Golden State is and what they've been through, that it will be very hard to overtake them. And when he was saying that, I also think to what Tim Duncan was able to do, and that is win a championship very young, which then took the pressure off of him to continually chase and continually try to validate his greatness. If you do that really, really young, man, it just kind of falls off your shoulders and everything else is gravy.
You just coasting. You're just
coasting. Allen Iverson took those guys on his shoulders to the finals, but never, ever came back.
Nobody argued against Tim Duncan's greatness. They only argue that he didn't win back-to-back. That's the only argument that somebody has against him.
And once he won the first one, it was, just how do I, add to this resume? But once you're able to establish yourself, like Giannis, I mean, he's established himself as a basketball god. Jayson Tatum has that opportunity. It's just that the obstacle in front of him in order to do so is just much greater.
We'll see. I totally disagree with this position on this being a legacy season for Tatum.
It's not a legacy. It is if he wins it. If he doesn't win it, he's got opportunities to do it again.
And that's why that's erases the legacy theory, in my opinion. If he wins, if he wins at 25 years old,
it's his best opportunity to establish himself as that. But in the same way that it was for Giannis and Devin last year. Because right now, you're looking at Devin, you're like, man, is he ever going to get back? You're not seeing the path looking so smooth, right?
Well,
certainly not in the Western Conference. Certainly not with Chris Paul getting older. Certainly not with DeAndre Ayton leaving. Now what do you got?
Yeah. You
got your chance.
You got a fair point.
You didn't grab the ring, and now Golden State's getting healthier, and Wiseman's not even playing yet.
I mean, but we knew that
getting better.
But we knew that going into
Minnesota's getting better.
We knew that going into the finals last year. We knew that going into your point where you didn't believe in the Phoenix Suns but when
you're there when you're there, you like he was saying, you think that because you're young and whatever that you'll have these opportunities over and over again, and you'll realize, especially in the most unforgiving conference in all of professional sports, the Western Conference of the NBA, you may never get there again.
Believe me, bro. You know who I'm a fan of. My Dolphins had a quarterback. We went in our second year thinking, okay, this is gonna be gravy. We're gonna go for the next 12 seasons. And it never happened again. So I totally understand exactly where you're coming from. However, my point is, well, you make the great point. You make the great point in busts your conversation with being that guy and having that opportunity last year with Giannis and Booker. Giannis got it, although he didn't come back. He has it in his back pocket. And Booker, where he didn't come back, he just has that experience. And now it's like, okay, can you lead a team? And now that you got even more questions with Booker now, because you had Chris Paul there to kind of guide you there, and then you were supposed to finish things off. Now we don't have that expectation of Chris Paul getting you there and guiding you there. Now that's your job to kind of guide you there and finish the job off. You didn't do it the first time. Can you ever get in a position to do it again? That's the question. That's what the question is now.
It was a unique set of circumstances last time, right? That kind of led to that path to get there.
Yeah.
It's not. It might not be quite so unique next time.
Yeah.
And you saw this time. It's. I don't want to give him knock, but I mean, wow, you can't even get past Luka. There's other teams waiting after Luka, man. And you can't get past Luka.
Yeah, okay. It sounded like you were trying to take a shot at Luka there for a second, but
no, I mean it's just the regression, right? You see the clip, right?
Yeah, I see.
Luka was like, okay, I haven't been past the first round. Now I got past the first round. I'll get past Phoenix. I'll be in the finals. Like, oh, well, I might not be able to beat the 2.5 Dragons, but man, I can get to the finals.
Man.
So it just changes the hierarchy, right?
Yeah,
you don't know what's happening in Utah. again, we mentioned the Young Bucks in Memphis and Minnesota. They're hanging around. Denver's getting healthier, right?
Yeah. So that's
Jamal
Memphis,
and Porter
Minnesota,
back, right?
Memphis, Minnesota, Denver, Clippers.
Dare I say my
your Lakers,
geriatric Lakers are getting healthier.
Yeah. What are they going to do with the new coach? So yeah, you're right. The landscape is ever evolving on the West Coast, on the Western Conference, and is challenging. So
and Houston with the number 3 pick, right? What do they? I mean, I'm not going to say they're ready to interject themselves into the conversation next year, but
you make some great points.
Years from here, they get Paulo and Gerald Green, and they're okay.
Yeah, you make some great points. All right, man. Enough NBA. We was heavy. I told you guys we were going to go heavy on the NBA. The finals is right upon us. We're going to have more conversations. In fact, Cleveland, I'm likely going to do. Fans, stay with us though. I'm going live sometime tomorrow. I'm going live pregame. I'm going to have a live chat pregame. I know that for certain. I know. I'm trying to figure out when am I going to go live post game? No, I'm not going to go live post game because I'm going to be in the post game interviews. I have to go live another time. Do I go live at halftime? We got 15 minutes at halftime. It's not enough time to kind of digest and break down the first half. I mean, we got 15 minutes. I don't think it would be worth it. But stick with me, fans. @ Voice of the Fans on Twitter. Voice of the Fans on Voice of the Fans on YouTube. Check me here on this YouTube page, or @ Voice of the Fans on Twitter. More than likely that'll be I go live on either one of those platforms, just to give some banter, just to give some in-house action, behind the scene action, plus some in-house action. So make sure you guys visit the Twitter page, my YouTube page. I'm also on TikTok, Voice of the Fans on TikTok, Cleveland. I'm expanding, big guy. I'm expanding TikToker now, big guy. So check us out on TikTok. TikTok is for the youth, I guess. Funny story, man. Real funny story. I thought this was funny. I was talking to covering at a boxing event a couple weeks ago, covering an event with at the Charlo fight, in fact, and talking to one of my buddies there who also does some covering sports. He's like, Cameron, what apps are you on? And I said, Facebook, Twitter. He's like, Facebook and Twitter? How old are you? I was like, shit.
Did you tell him the truth,
Cam? Oh my goodness. When he said that, I was like, he said, how old are you? I was like, hold on, wait. Time out. I fucking look like your grandpa? Gee whiz.
Might as well broke out a brick phone.
I'm shit. Man, he's like, nah, dog. He said, dog, he says, stop it. You need to get on TikTok. He's like, just stop it. Just stop it. So since then, I've been TikToking.
How's that going?
I mean, it's funny what people want to see. I mean, it's funny check it out. Voice of the Fans on TikTok. I just put up random videos. I put up a video of Cleveland. Well, you ought to get a kick out of it. Go out there and check it out. The Chargers had the groundbreaking for their new facility. They got a new facility up in El Segundo, about 25 miles north, closer. Is in the city. Just El Segundo is just west of LA. Beautiful facility that they had the groundbreaking ceremony on a couple weeks ago, and they had a priest, Roman Catholic priest, come out there and bless the soil. And it was the priest. He was ready for his 15 minutes. For his 15 minutes, man. He went all out on the 15 minutes. So you gotta watch the video. It's on TikTok. He was ready for his 15 minutes, and he went around and spritzed water on everybody. It was kind of comical. So it's funny to see what I think is entertaining versus what people actually feel are entertaining. I put that video up in a video. I was in the IndyCar last October, November. I got to ride in the backseat of an IndyCar on the Long Beach Grand Prix. Beautiful course in Long Beach. But I got to ride in the back of the IndyCar, and it's funny that I had a video. They placed right kind of we're 1-1, but right next to the driver, one of the guys put on attached their GoPro to the car, and they let me get the video. So as I'm in the car, you see the GoPro riding around. So I stuck that video up of the GoPro riding around the Long Beach Grand Prix. So you got to check out the TikTok, Voice of the Fans on TikTok. Check it out. The funny thing about that particular experience is the IndyCar. So it's a dual IndyCar. So I'm directly behind the driver of the IndyCar, but he has his headrest comes up above his head, right? And then comes down on the side. So I'm sitting directly behind him. I cannot see. I'm so close to him. I can't see. Like, I have to do this to see. But then if you're doing this at 100 miles per hour, like, this is not a comfortable situation to be in, right? So I really just sat behind him looking at the back of the seat, and I couldn't. I'm hearing the gear shift. I'm hearing the car rev up and down, right, as he's slowing down to take the corners, but I can't see the corner. So he shoots off at boom, 120 miles per hour, but then dashes six gear, fifth gear, fourth gear, third gear, and then whips a wheel. But I can't see the turn coming, so I don't know. I can't brace for it away. So he turns, and I'm like, oh shit. And then I'm like, oh shit, okay, I got to be ready for this because I can't see it coming. So then I try to peek over his head a little bit just to get an idea what's coming ahead. And because we're going 100 miles per hour, it's hard to get this and then stay comfortable. It was a weird experience. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. I'd do it again. I want to do it again immediately. Well, I wanted to drive the car, but obviously they weren't going to let me drive the car. But I wanted to do the ride again. It was an awesome experience. But I just put on videos like that to some experiences that life experience. So check it out. Voice of the Fans on TikTok. Check us out. Cleveland, man, we're gonna push right through this, man. Thanks for sticking with us. Appreciate TP for joining in. NFL topics, big guy. NFL topics. Apparently, Cleveland, that Colin Kaepernick workout wasn't the farce that many people suspected it would be. More people is reaching out. More people want to even give him a tryout or, potentially sign Colin Kaepernick to his team. What's your thoughts on the workout? And do you think it's actually he's going to stick with the Raiders, or might he pick up with somebody else? Seattle.
Wouldn't be surprised either or. The Raiders don't have a significant backup, and there are opportunities around the league. Carolina. I don't know who Atlanta's backup is, but certainly there are some opportunities out there. Given I don't know what kind of workout it was, but certainly it was good enough for them to give more consideration to it. So glad he got an opportunity to do it. I mean, it was a little bit different when he did it the last time. It was just kind of a private workout, and it was kind of makeshift, and a couple people came, but this is with a squad, and
no, this was a legitimate workout with legitimate.
This is an organization that is transitioning from the Mike Mayock, John Gruden era, where none of those players worked out. So what's the worst that can happen, right?
Well, yeah, it's interesting. And, society has a lot to do with this, the rebirth of Colin Kaepernick. Society's willingness to hear what he actually was saying. I
society is forgiving, but the NFL is not. So if you can
Cleveland, the NFL now is everything Colin Kaepernick was talking about when they were okay, dude, shut up. We don't want to talk about this. This is work time. We don't want to hear about your personal issues.
No, I don't mean forgiving in that way. I mean forgiving with regards to the actual physicality and skill set it takes to be in the league. Although he's a really good guy, and all the things that he's done for social justice in the world is commendable, and we all pat him on the back for that. If you did all that and can't really sling the ball, we don't really have a place for you. If you did all that and you still show like, oh wow, that's kind of a live arm, and okay, well, you certainly passed this obstacle to let's get into some other formations and reading of defenses and all of that, then yeah. But if you can't go past that obstacle, I mean, I know I'm up here in the Pacific Northwest, like, Pete Carroll will, hey man, are you? Bring you in, and it kind of takes a week. Like, man, I'm glad you came in, but no, not so much. Like the linebacker that came out of jail, it's like, man, come up here.
Oh, Banks, yeah.
It wasn't like, I don't know. See, it's like, but once you got up here, it's like, oh, okay, well, again, not here, maybe somewhere else. Here's some tape. Show people what you can do. Brought in Terrell Owens, brought in Kellen Winslow II. I mean, what can you do? Do you have it?
Who did Jerry Rice come in there under? Was that under Pete? Did Jerry Rice come in there under Pete? Who was that under? That was that was under your Fat Boy. Yeah, that was a Fat Boy. Yeah, that's who that was under. Yeah. And when you think about it, that was because Holmgren was a little kid when he coached in San Francisco, and so he's giving his uncle a job now. Hey, come on up here with me in Seattle. That's what that was right there.
Well, I mean, he knows, from the beginning, from the inception of Jerry Rice's career, what he was capable of, and if he had anything left in the tank, yeah, let's see what you got.
Well, I mean, Jerry Rice should have been slapped. Steve Largent should have came up there and slapped him for putting on number 80. He just slapped him across his face. Nonetheless, Cleveland, Deshaun Watson has another masseuse entering the fray. We had the masseuse speak up to Brian Gubble on on HBO's Real Sports. Now we have a 23rd mysterious victim showing up. Cleveland, if the grand jury in Houston twice decides to not pursue criminal charges, what are we doing? What's going on here?
Got to have tape or conversations. I think at this point,
we got to what?
It's got to have tape or conversations. I mean, visual evidence or conversations. Otherwise,
yeah,
I think they've already kind of made their decision. Unless it's just something that is so egregious that we haven't heard previously from the other.
I mean, again, the stuff we hear, it just makes you question Deshaun Watson, but it's not jail worthy.
Well, it's not even that, Cam. I mean, you have to go against the Shield, and the Shield's already decided that the talent is worth it. If you guys don't have a strong enough case to put this talent in jail, talent will win.
True. You are absolutely correct. So why don't Goodell just say, okay, you get a 3-game suspension and then let him appeal it to 1 game, and now
no, because there's too many things to consider, and they haven't gone through all the stuff yet.
Oh man, you guys are still
and cases just keep coming out of the woodwork, so it's not quite time to just make a final decision just yet. No,
I mean you once you take the test and you turn in your paper, you can't keep, because you see Greg over here changes his answer to 97 is A instead of C. You can't just keep rechanging your.
No, these are sexual assault accusers that keep coming up, so it's not quite the same thing, Cam. And we don't know what their story is, and until we know what their story is, then you're being very condescending, kind of just waving it off like she doesn't have anything to say, and you don't know what her story is.
No, I don't know what her story is, but
or what type of evidence she has to support her story.
Well, show me some evidence. Don't just show me accusations.
Okay, well, who are you, man? I mean, you're not the one that got sexually assaulted. I mean, you're not the one that's having to go up against the Shield. You have no idea what this person's story is. All you know is you want to see your quarterback on the field, and you want him to stop having to deal with all these little stories and just play the game.
I wanted him until
and that's what the NFL is all about.
I wanted him in Aqua until. I wanted him in Aqua until last year. If we could have had this settled up last year instead of dicking around, instead of prolonging the situation, he's in Aqua until.
Through this whole thing, you're the most upset that he's not in the 305. That's what you're the most upset about. And that's your average NFL fan.
That was doable. It was a legitimate.
And that is legitimately doable. We had NFL fan. Which is, I believe, why this person decided to come forward with their story, because everybody is just so cavalier about what this dude was doing to that many people.
Tell me what he did.
You just want it to go away.
Tell me what he did, and don't tell me. And don't tell me.
I'm not going to paraphrase. I didn't read all the court documents and
after you guys had multiple drinks at happy hour that he came here and he tried to kiss you in your mouth. Don't give me that excuse. You know what I'm saying? I want to know what he did that actually has you feeling either scared, frightened, hurt, insulted, intimidated. I want to know. I need to know these things. Other than that, come on, man. You ruined the opportunity for him to be starting quarterback for my Miami Dolphins. And my frustration doesn't allow me to see anything other than that.
The end.
I mean, can you change my thinking? It's been 2 years.
I cannot change your thinking.
It's been 2 years now.
Damn. I just heard you argue with someone that had COVID 4 times. Like you should have told the doctor you had COVID. Like wow, how'd that go over? Someone that's had COVID 4 times. Oh man, you just took some Sucrets and just walked out on the court and just played it out.
Hey, quietly, real funny story. Sucrets is a hidden secret, man. I didn't know Sucrets was a hidden secret. I pulled out some Sucrets to her.
How's that a hidden? Really?
She didn't. She never had Sucrets. And she complained about her throat. I gave her Sucrets. She's like, "Oh, what is this? What's going on?" Sucrets won me some months right there. I didn't expect that. Man. I didn't expect that reaction from Sucrets, but I got it. I was surprised. So oddly enough, and I will once again, Cleveland, since you keep wanting to twist the story around, I was not saying drink some hot water and go out there on the NBA court and run around and do your thing. That's not what I was saying.
You were saying don't tell them because you might have it, and if they find out, then you can't play and go out there and infect everyone else that has a family and young kids and the rest of the world.
See you and T-Pain,
you don't want them to know. Even if you have it, you don't want them to know. You want it to be a secret that just you know.
I know what I said, and I will stick to it. And you and Thomas can try to twist up my words any way you like. What I said was, I don't know who I'm calling if I feel like shit in the morning and I got a game at 6:00. I'm gonna sleep, drink some water, drink some tea, Theraflu, and I'm gonna be at the stadium at 4:00 ready to get down. I can't pick up the phone and say I'm sick on game day. I cannot picture myself doing that. I cannot.
And certainly, and like TP said, if it was the flu or a bad cold or something that wasn't certainly as infectious and dangerous as COVID, then that makes a lot of sense.
You got to throw that infectious and dangerous in there.
Yeah, because that's what COVID is.
Do you expect Aaron Donald to return or
yes.
retire this season?
Return.
Yeah, he's going to get. So the Rams are going to pay him $30 million a year as a defensive tackle.
Quite possibly.
Ooh. What's that going to do for a guy like a guy like down there in Cowboy Land, number 11.
Oh, that's not going to change the market that much for Parsons because he would have to be like a 3-time defensive player of the year to earn that kind of.
He just needs two more.
I'm sorry. Did he win Defensive Player of the Year? Did I miss that?
What did he win? He won Rookie of the Year.
Rookie
of the Year.
Yeah, like in your first year when you're just kind of getting your feet wet.
Yeah, when you don't know what you're doing.
They didn't say he was better than Aaron Donald by any means. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to send you a video I got with Parsons. Parsons is a cool dude. I saw him when I was out there in Dallas for the Spence fight. Parsons is a cool dude. He's a funny guy, but he's a cool dude. The charges against Jerry Jeudy were dismissed. The potential domestic violence. I mean, is that Russell get up there and talk to the courts up there?
Oh man, again, the Shield. Very, very similar to. It's so funny. You're talking about our guy Golden Arm. I don't know if you remember during the Tony Martin drug trial, dude was facing 40 years. And Dan Marino literally got up on the stage and turned to the judge and said, he's a good dude. I need him.
There it happens again.
You're like 7 years of probation. Like you spit on the sidewalk, you're going to jail, but okay.
Yeah, Russell Wilson gets there and speaks right up in his guys.
Well, I mean, just the potential. I mean, yeah, they got in the judge's ear a tad bit. Whoever has a sphere of influence up there for sure.
Baker watched 2022. Did you see Baker? Is he in Hawaii? Is he in the Cayman Islands? Did you see?
Baker's doing his thing. He's trying to, gather his thoughts and, hopefully, find a landing spot where he can, show his opportunity, his skills.
So I wonder. I just at the top of my head, I just wondering kind of how Baker compares to somebody else that might be playing Seahawks quarterback for the Seahawks this season. Let's get some comparison going on real quick.
Cam, I'm about to shut your Drew Lock nonsense down right now, man. The Thugnificent act is wearing thin up here in the 206. Okay, I know that you're happy that we don't have all of the accolades and star quarterbacks that we once had, but just the way that you try and rub it in is ridiculous.
What do you mean? I'm trying to rub it in.
Did I do that down in 305 when you were doing that turnstile at the quarterback position?
Oh, did you do it? You pointed out multiple times, multiple seasons that my team has not had a quarterback since Dan Marino. You have pointed that out multiple times that there's been no all-star quarterback.
But I didn't point to specific quarterbacks and say, what you doing in town? What are you doing? Where did you go to have dinner last night?
So many quarterbacks that you can't point at one. No, I did not. Oh, look. No, so now he's getting sensitive because I'm inquiring about his quarterback. He's getting insensitive when he's been busting my quarterback.
There's nothing to inquire about. He's been busting my quarterback. You keep asking me about Drew Lock. Don't nobody know nothing about Drew Lock?
Well,
nobody caring about Drew Lock.
That's what we're about to help you with. We're about to help you guys right now, and I find it hysterical that
we don't need
you
all
of a sudden you don't
need your help.
You don't want to talk about your guy, but I want to do a little comparison here. Let's just for shits and grins, man. Come on, we're all grown folks here. Cleveland, what was Drew Lock's completion percentage last season? Do you know?
Drew Lock didn't play any games last season.
Drew Lock did play in games last season.
How many games Drew Lock playing last season?
I have to look up how many games he played in. Okay, well,
I mean, in his 4-game sample, probably like 52%.
50. I mean, 4-game sample. Oh, that's not enough now. You need more than that.
Yeah, to be the starting quarterback. Yeah, I'd like a little bit, larger sample size if that's okay.
So 52%. So how would you like a quarterback? How would you like a quarterback whose completion percentage is 60% in 2021, 61% in his career? How would you like that? What would you say? Would you say that? You would say that'd be an upgrade, right?
Numbers can be deceiving, Cam, as you well know.
No, well, you just gave me numbers. You asked me numbers. I give you numbers.
You asked me a question as to what I thought his completion percentage was. I gave you a number.
All of a sudden, numbers could be deceiving. Okay, so would you like a quarterback who goes 63%, 49, 63.8%, 59.4%, 62.8%, or 60.5% completion rating? How would you like those completion ratings?
I didn't know those
three or four seasons.
Those numbers without context don't mean anything. Absolutely.
That's a completion percentage of a quarterback. 3 of the past 4 years, he's had over 60% completion percentage.
Okay, well, so what?
He said so. I mean, I'm just looking at in comparison to the.
No, you're just trying to rub it in, man. It's not cool.
What about a quarterback that throws 21 touchdowns? What's the most touchdown completions or touchdown passes that Russell Wilson threw as a quarterback?
30.
He threw 30 touchdown passes.
That's my educated guess. I don't have the rough stats in front of me.
Well, this guy here, how would you like this? This guy here goes for 27, 25, 22, and 17 touchdown passes. In 4 years, he threw 92 touchdown passes. What do you talk to me? What do you think about this guy?
I don't know where you're going with all this, Cam.
This is looking like a good candidate.
I don't know where you're going with all this, Cam.
This is looking like a good candidate for you, actually, right? Or you don't want to admit it?
Not buying into your nonsense, and neither are our fans. So
what are you talking about nonsense? We're talking about quarterbacks producing in your on your team. So a QBR is ESPN's total quarterback ranking calculated since 2006. They use a 1 through 100 right here. So how would you like a quarterback who in his third year gets a 65% QBR rating? How would you like that?
Again, with the stats, don't stat me.
He's sick fan. So thanks for pleasure or sticking around, Cleveland, and listening to me. Cleveland, the quarterback who's the current starter of the Seattle Seahawks, career completion percentage is 59.3. That's your guy, Drew Lock. What's the most touchdowns Drew Lock thrown in the season?
I think you said 27 something you threw out. I don't know.
No, that's somebody else. What's the most interceptions Drew Lock thrown in the season?
Oh, he's probably thrown 20 interceptions in the season.
Actually, the most interceptions Drew Lock threw was 15. He gets limited opportunities. And his highest QBR in his career is
96.
96. Hell no, he's a 50. He's a 50, and that was in 2019. So Drew Lock, 59.3% completion percentage in comparison to this guy at 60.5. Most TD thrown in the season, Drew Lock has 16. This other guy has 27. Most interceptions in the season, this guy does eclipse Drew Lock with 21 versus 16. And Drew Lock, I just told you his highest QBR for a season was 50. This other guy has a 65. What quarterback would you want? Drew Lock or that other guy?
I don't have enough context to really put that all into words. I mean, you're just throwing some random numbers at me.
The question is, who would you want, Drew Lock or the other guy?
I have no idea that those other numbers have no context to them. So
60,
were they all 3-yard passes? I mean, was it
65% completion passes?
Was it 27 for 30 for 67 yards? I don't know.
I mean, do you want your quarterback to throw for 27 touchdowns?
Man, we don't know, Cam. I don't know. Why don't you stop worrying about what I want from a quarterback up here? Okay. I mean, that's not your concern.
I'm trying to understand. Like, you have Drew Lock, but Baker Mayfield's available. Baker Mayfield, I just gave
Look, man, you don't know all the inner workings of what's going on, man. And Baker Mayfield is available at a certain cost, man. You know, so what?
Oh, are you getting salty? Are you getting salty? You know what? I'm starting to.
Yeah, I'm getting tired of you needling me about the Seattle Seahawks potentially rolling out Drew Lock, man. You just can't contain your enthusiasm about that, and you just can't just stop cackling like a little schoolgirl. And I'm tired of it.
I'm trying to give you some.
No, you're not.
Historical references.
You're trying to make a circus of this whole thing that the Seahawks don't have a starting quarterback, and you just can't even hold it in.
I'm really not trying to do that, man.
You really are trying to do that at every turn, at every opportunity. Why you keep asking me about Drew Lock?
Because I'm trying to help you and the other Seahawks fans understand who their quarterback is.
No, we already know who that is.
Russell is not there anymore. You have a new guy.
Yeah, I know. Thanks for bringing that back up, my dude.
I'm not sure everybody recognizes that.
No, everybody does recognize that, which is why you're having such a field day with this whole thing, which is why you're having such a fun time. Just tickling yourself pink with all of this Drew Lock stats in comparison to the mystery guy. Like
the mystery guy, just so you know, fans, the mystery guy is Baker Mayfield.
Whatever.
Baker Mayfield exceeds him in
nobody cares what you're saying, Cam. Nobody cares when you're trying to rub it in. Nobody cares about you, taking shots.
Go get Baker. All I'm saying is go get Baker. Go get Baker. That's all I'm trying to say. Go get Baker. And you're saying, oh no, we don't need Baker. We can do good. Life is going to be okay without Russell. I didn't say all that.
I said that there are other things going on that you don't know about. There are other, ramifications to getting Baker Mayfield. So it's not just as simple as like, oh yeah, what's up, Bake? You want to come through and try out? It's not that simple, Cam. There's other things that have to go into that.
Hey, so you guys,
you don't care. You don't care. You just like seeing the Seahawks fans is bleeding on the ground. That's all you care about. You just like to see without the security blanket and see how cold it is out here for the rest of the world, huh? Ain't that right, Cam?
No, I want to see you guys succeed. You want
to see us walk through the wilderness butt naked because we don't got our quarterback no more and see how life really is, huh?
I want you to see how life really is.
Okay, tough love. Okay, hard learning lesson.
Listen to it. He's salty. You don't have to be mad at me. You don't have to be mad.
I'm not. You're not the only person that has been ganging up, taking haymakers after the Seahawks lose their starting quarterback. You're not the first one.
I'm just a podcast host talking about
it. You're not even the most vocal about it.
I'm just right, exactly. So I don't know why you get so all agitated and irritated with me.
I'm tired of it.
I'm just talking.
And then you try and throw these Drew Lock, trying to prep us for what's going to happen. Is that what you're trying to do? Okay.
Yes. You trying to get? You see why Drew Lock isn't that guy and Baker is that guy.
I tell you what. Right now, all of this bad karma, it comes back. It comes back in like this swirling cloud.
Again, I'm not sure you're familiar with.
And you have two teams out there, not just one. You have two teams out there.
I'm not sure you're familiar with who's been the quarterback of my teams over the last 30 years.
Who cares?
See what I'm saying?
Well, because you haven't had success with quarterbacks for your teams, that means that when my team don't got a quarterback, you're all happy because now I'm in the same boat that you've been in. No. See, that's cornball. That's cornball, fam. That's exactly what he's doing. Oh, see, now you see how I feel. How I've been feeling all these years. Yeah. How you like it? No.
Cleveland is not happy, fans. He is not happy with their quarterback situation, but he wants to run. He wants to roll.
You're too happy.
He wants to roll with Pete
because you've had so long without having a quarterback. But now you want to see somebody else not have a quarterback. That's childish.
No. Well, we don't have a quarterback. We're going to look into the draft. We got some high draft picks this year. We're going to be back in the draft pick this year. I mean, you can have Tua. You want Tua? I will take Drew Lock. Well, let's do a Tua for Drew Lock trade.
Do it.
I like that.
I'm down for that. Yeah.
Fans, we're going to ignore Cleveland's whining there that he went on, his little whiny rant that he went on. But he went to, I know for years and years and years, he went to bust my team's balls because they had no quarterback. Now he don't got a quarterback. He doesn't want to talk quarterback in the NFL no more. I just find that very curious. And so I will remind the Seattle Seahawks fans about their quarterback situation, and then just try to educate them on Drew Lock on who their potential quarterback may be. I mean, I don't think a lot of people. He went to Missouri. He didn't go to school up in the Northwest, so not a lot of people are familiar with him. He was in Colorado. I mean, that's a long way from that's a world away from Seattle. So they need some help trying to understand who he is, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help educate the fans, Cleveland. Educate the fans. That's what I'm here for. Just like we're going to do when we do our This Week in History segment, Cleveland, we educate the fans. Back in slavery was abolished in all U.S. possessions in 1862, Cleveland. I don't know why there was a need for civil rights in the 60s, in 1960, 100 years later, but slavery was abolished in 1862, yet it was in the 1960s when we weren't treated like slaves anymore, I guess, is one way to put it. 1843, the first major boxing match on TV was televised. U.S. TV was televised at Yankee Stadium. Former heavyweight Max Beer took on Lou Nova. Nova won the decision by TKO in the 11th round. Cleveland in 1863, June 2nd, Harriet Tubman led U.S. Union Army guerrillas into Maryland, freeing over 700 slaves. Harriet Tubman, I don't know if you've seen the movie Tubman or Harriet. Pretty good flick. That it kind of goes into depth about kind of her stance and what she did down in the South with freeing slaves. So kudos to her. June 2nd, 1875, James Augustine Healy became the first Black Catholic bishop in the United States. So kudos to Mr. Healy or Father Healy. 6/3, 1968, Poor People's March on Washington. They're trying to do this again, and they name it the Poor People's March. What do you think of the name of the Poor People's March?
Catchy.
Catchy. So some people remember that, right? Cleveland, 6/1, 1979. What happened June 1, 1979? Where were you June 1, 1979, by the way?
Oh, I will reference this picture and touch that of all 12 of them. I was running around the house, high-fiving my dad when the Seattle SuperSonics won the NBA championship.
Who came up with mascot T. Weedle? Who did that?
Oh, I don't. That's back. That's in the 70s, man. It's kind of hard to.
Who did that? Man, was that the corniest mascot available?
The Weedle. I think it was kind of a play on the Space Needle. I'm assuming.
A big fat dude was a play on the Space Needle.
Big furry, lovable, creature.
What was it? Was it a ball? Was it a Sasquatch? What the heck was
T? It's kind of hard. He's not in the picture.
You don't see him now. You don't see him.
He's on the picture. So,
Cleveland over the weekend, we had Tank Davis knock out Rolly Rolando. Did you see the fight? Actually,
I saw the knockout. I did not see the whole fight.
You saw the knockout, caught him. Rolly was in control of the fight. I will tell you that. Rolly was in control of the fight. On the scorecards, they had him. One scorecard had him up, had Rolly down by two points. The two other scorecards had him down by 1 point. So it was a very highly contentious fight. I thought Rolly was in control of the fight. And in that sequence where he got knocked out, he was the aggressor. And Tank just was his elusiveness, his quickness, his ring IQ, his generalship just kind of switched his body and caught him with the left right as he came in. It was watch it. If you watch it and replay it, it's just a thing of beauty. I mean, he had to adjust, instantly, split second. He has a time to adjust and can connect with that punch, and he did, and he put Rolly out of there. What's your thoughts on Tank Davis? You saw Tank in person. You saw him lay dude out at the Dignity Health Center years ago.
For sure.
have we seen the best of Tank, or there's still more to come?
I think there's still more to come, but I think it was a good move, getting away from Mayweather and them and being kind of a free agent, so there aren't all these obstacles and making big fights if that's what he wants to do, or if he just wants to, be really rich and kind of, milk the public for, the anticipation and suspense of when you might have a big fight. I mean, I think that's his opportunity to do that.
The former is probably more likely. But yeah, that was a great fight. We'll see how he comes. I think it's just him leaving the Mayweather camp is just rumors at the moment. If he does it'll be good for him to kind of step out on his own and branch out and kind of be his own guy. That would be cool to see. He's been with them a long time, so he should have the blueprint by now and kind of how to lay things out and kind of walk that same path. So we'll see if it actually happens. Cleveland. Now we've been having the CJ really special, the segment for the last 6 months now. Do we need to change this here to the Tommy Pham segment here? Because as you alerted me to, fantasy football took a forefront over the past weekend when Tommy Pham smacks Jock Peterson over the head and then calls out one of the game's greatest players and Mike Trout, saying he's the worst commissioner that one could possibly have. What's your thoughts on the fantasy football scenario? I know you got a lot to say about it. And do we need to change the segment from best bets to Tommy Pham?
Well, Cam, I have changed my name in one of my fantasy leagues to T Family. That's going to be my name going forward. I'm in a T family state of mind. Fans, you may not know this. I wrote a book a few years ago called Inside the Mind of a Lunatic Fantasy Football Owner, which chronicles the trials and tribulations of a frustrated fantasy football owner and the lengths that he will go to extract revenge on the people within his fantasy football league that he thinks has wronged him. Now, when I first heard this story come out, it sounded just, completely ludicrous. And then I started thinking to myself, well, maybe, Jock Peterson is one of those janky-ass commissioners that just kind of does weird stuff and, players miraculously kind of show up on, other people's team that, you've asked for and, somehow you didn't get it and kind of weird stuff. But we really just kind of went to the core of what I was saying in my book is that you just don't know how seriously some of these people are taking it, and just the emotional strain of not achieving fantasy football greatness is just too much for some people to bear. Now let's think about this, man. This dude makes like $8 million a year.
Fantasy greatness. Okay.
Since November, he has circled this day on his calendar, of which he can go over and slap his coworker as hard as he can. And fans, I don't know if you saw the slap. It was like 10 times harder than Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. He really put his back into this one. Okay. Yeah. And you just got to imagine Jock Peterson at the batting cage, like, man, is this about fantasy football? Like 6 months ago? Because I put someone on the IR that,
Wait, hold on. Do you think he did not know what this was about?
No, he knew what it was about. Okay. He just couldn't believe that this person had taken it to the baseball diamond to enact his vengeance on it.
What like, you think? Okay, like you think because we at work? You think because we at work? You think because we at work you can get away from this? What?
Exactly. No. That T family state of mind is a real thing, and I called this out years ago. And I'm just glad that T Family was able to give me some validation to kind of what goes into some of the minds of these people. It ain't a game to these guys, man. It's real serious. And you got to ask yourself, even if he lost the league, did he lose $120,000 in that league? Probably not. Right. Because he lost $120,000 getting suspended.
Suspended with no pay?
What do you think they suspended him with the pay? Was that your thought on it? You can't play 3 games, but we're still going to give you the 120. No.
I mean, come on, we've seen that happen before. Pay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I absolutely loved it because it crosses between the fantasy football mind and your rational mind. Like these are multimillionaires slapping each other over quote unquote fantasy football. So fantasy is in the title, which means it's not real. So, and then it's football, which means it's entertainment. It's not the sport that you play. So how in the world could you be taking it this serious as to take it to the job? And this is, in your profession, I mean, there's other teams looking, man. It's not like it's just this one team, right?
There's other teams looking.
And then on the flip side, it's funny because if you're on the lunatic side of it, right? If you're on the lunatic side of it, it's like, well, yeah, I can kind of understand that. Like somebody's in the front office, like, yeah, that happened to me one time. In 2018, I was trying to get this one player, and they would give it to me. 2019, Yahoo stat correction cost me my championship. So they have all their own like emotional baggage over it. So, they can almost kind of, empathize with them, but no. So I just love the duality of it. And it was someone like just so, out there that like this could happen to anybody.
Yeah. I mean, and again, I'm going to say this, like, similar to, I know it's a completely different situation and one that is not as comical, but the situation with Trevor Bauer, there are just as many players in the Major League. I'm willing to bet there's just as many players in Major League Baseball that have had similar situations to Trevor Bauer, and they'd rather not say anything about it. There's the teammates that haven't said he's a terrible guy. He hasn't because he does this and this and this. He's a terrible guy. We don't want him around because of this and this and this. You don't hear that. They just say, okay, we'll push this on over to the corner here and not deal with that issue. They don't want to talk about that because they know many of them are in the same situation. To your point here, he doesn't. To your point here, Pham really is going hard because he's passionate about it, and we know how many. There's many more players. There's hundreds of more players having the same feelings that Pham had. They just didn't react on it. They just didn't act on it. They sent a memo.
There's hundreds of millions that feel this way. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and here's an example of someone that has like $8 million a season to lose over it, and is still so passionate about it that he takes it to the workplace, man.
Yes, Cleveland. Yes, you and I, we would see it as a workplace. Yes. However, when they're playing baseball, I mean, it is a workplace. We get it. We understand that it's a clubhouse. Is what they do for a living. There's a lot of leeway that goes on in that quote unquote workplace that is different than somebody going to UPS or somebody going to Chase.
Oh no, you could much more understand if somebody went to UPS and was 2 drivers going at it. That'd be like, ooh, okay, I kind of get that. I make $8 million. You make $8 million.
It's all relative.
And you play in Major League.
It's all relevant. That makes it more competitive.
That's the whole point. Is that it crosses over the line to where it's not all relative. It is
all relative.
That's a shame. That's the fascination of it for me. It's because this is a perfect example of you thought it was just me and my friends. No, man.
It's everybody.
No.
It's the world.
It's a thing.
World. It's a world. Let the people know. Where can they find your book at?
You can find it on Amazon and also Barnes & Noble.
Okay. And it covers all of this. This is just as minor.
This is all the trials and tribulations of a frustrated fantasy football owners, and all of the things that he does, and all the sick things that go through his mind to exact revenge on the people that he feels have wronged him.
I like it. Now I need to know what I should be looking out for, though, because if you're going up against people who you feel have wronged them, Now, me talking about Drew Lock every week couldn't make you happy. I don't know.
Well, Cam, it is a fictional book. It's not an autobiography. So
okay.
let's get that part straight. Where I thought this could go if you didn't have a rational, frame of mind. And
Pham showed you
here. Pham just fell into my lap. You see?
Yeah. So this week in boxing, Cleveland, boxing is getting crazy, man. Every week we got a legitimate bouts, quality bouts. We see this week we have George Cambosis, who recently beat up Teofimo Lopez and now is a unified champion. He takes on Devin Haney to be he puts up his belts to be for the unification belt or unification fight with Devin Haney this weekend. They are fighting in Australia, Cambosis' home country. Who do you have in this fight, and what's your thoughts of Devin Haney? Well, yeah, what you think of this fight?
I'm gonna take Haney. You always have those kind of risks between father and son in the corner, so that's always going to kind of play a part in it. We've heard that
the father isn't able to go because of the warrant he had from back in the day. He's not able to.
No, but he was already kind of with the the other camp, the Judah camp. So I saw the interview on ESPN a few weeks back when right before. It wasn't the Tank fight. So before one of the title fights, but yeah, they talked about it, and it's a little bit of animosity there, but I mean it always happens. You've seen it happen with De La Hoya, you've seen it happen with Roy Jones Jr., you've seen it happen with Floyd. This is kind of a recurring theme, but I think Haney has enough talent to get past that. The fact that the other guy beat Lopez after Lopez beat Lomachenko, that's kind of
Cambosis
gets him a little bit of credence, so it could be a good fight.
Cambosis is tough.
Could be a fight. It could be a good fight, but I got to lean towards Haney on that one.
Devin doesn't have any punching power. That's my concern with Devin Haney. He doesn't. His punching power is limited. It's 2-0. And Cambosis is, if he comes in there to fight, he's more of a warrior mentality type guy. I don't expect Devin Haney to be able to. I don't expect his punches to be able to ward off Cambosis. Therefore, Cambosis is going to continue to come at him and not thinking about Devin Haney's feather soft punches and going to end up knocking him out. That's what my expectation is.
Certainly a possibility. We shall see.
Haney Sr. won't be in a corner, in Devin's corner. How much do you think that's going to be a factor for Haney? And do you think that is single reason for him not being able to pull out the fight?
Be the first time, never can tell.
It's going to be a tough look, but we'll see. We'll see how that works out. Fans, I was all set to do a Mariners minute with you, but the Mariners, since our last conversation, has went 4-6. Out of the last 10 games. Instead of being 10 games back that they were last week, they're 10.5 games back. And they were 18-26 last week. This week they're 21-28. Still under 500. This doesn't look like a playoff team to me. Whoever thinks they are a playoff team is sadly mistaken. And anything you want to say about? The people are embarrassed that you want to talk about the Mariners.
Nope. It's not time to talk. We have an agreement, and it's not time to say anything just yet. I'm sticking to the agreement.
The Mariners freaking stink, fans. We're gonna end the quote here. We're gonna end the show with this quote, fans. Just keep going. Everybody gets better if they keep at it. And this is from the hit king, the hit man, Mr. Ted Williams, Cleveland. He says, just keep going. Everybody gets better if they keep at it. So, Cleveland, maybe you're going to win a debate with me if you just keep at it. Maybe one time you catch me with the sniffles and I have COVID and I can't compete that day. You might get a win that night. Other than that, big guy, it's a tough sled for you, and I get it. I appreciate you keep coming back, though. Fans, I thank you guys for tuning into the show. Fans, let's thank Cleveland for being part of the show. Cleveland, how can they find you on Twitter or how can I find you on social media?
Sure, at Clevie Wonder on Twitter and Clevon Steele on Instagram.
And please be sure to check us out at _Voice of the Fans on Twitter. That's at _Voice of the Fans on Twitter. You can also find me on my Facebook group, Voice of the Fans. You can find me on TikTok, Voice of the Fans. You can find me on Instagram, Voice of Fans. I am also on Twitter at What's Good in Sport. That's at What's Good Sports in Sport, the letter N, Sport singular, at What's Good in Sport, or just simply find me at _Voice of the Fans on Twitter. Fans, again, please follow me on my social media platforms. I am in San Francisco. I will be at the NBA Finals Game 1 tomorrow, so I'm gonna have a lot of exclusive content pre-game, mid-game, and post-game. So again, most of it's gonna be on Voice of the Fans on YouTube or at _Voice of the Fans on Twitter. Be sure to tune in. Thank you for your time. Fans, I would like to also urge you, shameless plug here. I need some help getting home, fans. I need some help getting home. $ Voice of the Fans at the Cash App. Kindly donate and assist however you can. I need some lunch money. I need a plane ticket. I need some new shoes. Fans, anything you guys can do, please donate to the show. It will be repurposed specifically for the show. Any funds you guys donated will be repurposed specifically for the show. So I'll make that clear. This is not money for Dick's Drive-In, Cleveland. This is money to repurpose for the show. So I thank you for being a part of the show, Cleveland. Thank you for being a part of the show tonight. Everything good with Coco?
Man, I'm checking a minute. It wasn't good earlier. She started jumping up on the desks, Cam, and pulling stuff off and chewing up important papers and books and stuff. So yeah.
Oh, you need a crate train, buddy. Crate train, buddy. What kind of dog is
it? Pit lab.
Crate train, buddy. Crate train. You got a crate?
Yeah, it's over here. You know, we break out the condo when things get bad, but
you don't crate train. You don't crate train too often. I can hear it in your voice. I can hear that's probably the wifey saying that. Oh no, we don't need to keep her in there. She's a crate train, buddy.
No, she's the one that throws it in there more often than not. I'm like, give her a chance, but yeah, no, not after eating up. She almost ate up my second book here.
Oh shit!
Sitting over here, I was like, what is going on?
She likes the way that paper tastes, huh? Crate training, buddy. Crate training works. Cleveland, thank you for being a part of the show. As long as you've been a part of the show, we've been doing this, man. It's been over 10 years, Cleveland. I don't remember the specific date. I think it was August 2011, if I remember. But I'd have to go back and look at the my notes. But off the top of my head, I think that's when it was. So we're well in this for 10 years, man. And remember, how do you feel now, Cleveland? Just a word to the fans. How do you feel now when you told me we can't do this every week? You told me last year we can't do it every week, man. You think we can do it every week? How do you feel now,
Cam, man? I mean, I was such a skeptic, and here we are, just so colorful and flamboyant, continuing to bring the fans content that is purposeful. So yeah, I stand corrected. It can be done.
Thank you for your time, Cleveland. Enjoy the time with the wifey. Enjoy the time with Coco. Go Warriors. Check us out this weekend once again. $ Voice of the Fans on the Cash App. Hit me up. Hit us up. Put something in my pocket, fans. I need your help. Cleveland, thank you for your time. Fans, hit this up. Voice of the Fans, the Cash App. Voice of the Fans. Hit us up. Voice of the Fans _ at _Voice of the Fans on Twitter. Voice of the Fans on Facebook, at What's Good in Sports, at What's Good in Sports. Check out the website. Check me out at What's Good in Sports. Cleveland, thank you for your time, big guy, and we will holler at you soon.
All right, talk soon, bro.
All right, let me finish this up. Cleveland, thank you for your time, big guy. It's been these nights are pretty cool, man. I just need to get to this last one.